Hello and welcome to episode 19 of Nerds and Words. I'll be your host today, Tim Allen 1337, and I'm joined, as always, with Potion Shop TV.
Hello.
Moreland TV.
It couldn't have been me, dude. I was on admin table the whole time.
An Among Us meme. How clever. And our very special guest today, Blond Bear. Welcome, Blond Bear.
Hello.
So we have, unlike BDO this week, a lot of content lined up for you. Even though there wasn't a patch, we still got some things we can go over. And we are just a couple days away from Odalita. That's how you pronounce it, right?
I have no idea.
Everybody getting their Garmoth hearts together and stuff like that. But let's start off the podcast. We're going to change it up just a little bit. But let's start off by talking about what we did this week inside or outside of gaming. Moreland, you want to start us off?
Let's see. What did I do this week? I previewed the website on stream on, I want to say Wednesday. I went through the little node calculator and calculated the value of every node in the game and decided on what the path was going to be, freed up some contribution for Odalita. So I've got pretty much everything ready for next week. And I got a lot of feedback on the actual website itself. So there's some extra features that we're adding before we launch. And it's going to be pretty robust. I think it's going to be a pretty damn useful tool. And then once we're done with nodes, we're going to move on to like cooking and other stuff. So it's almost ready. Should be coming out, at least for the private beta version, should be ready this week, and then public version sometime after Odalita.
What was the biggest surprise?
What do you mean?
Like, what was what node where you're like, whoa, that's terrible, or whoa, that's great?
Several nodes in Valencia are like shockingly good. That like some of the nodes in the middle of nowhere, like Aukman and Humility, the trace of memory node, some of the stuff that's just you would never have taken back in the day is actually really good now. Fish nodes are surprisingly good as well. I wasn't even gonna implement fishing nodes at first, but now they're some of the best nodes in the game, so we're gonna have a whole section for those too.
Are you gonna monetize it in any way?
I don't think so, at least not for the first version. There might be some extra features in the future that are monetized, but for now I'm just gonna beg for donations.
Subs only. If you're a sub, you get it.
Nah, I want it to be a more public, like commonly used tool than just subs.
Yeah, I can't limit it to only 50 people.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Got him. Potion, how was your week, buddy?
My week has been pretty good. I've been going through like a little rut, like mentally, on a personal level. In BDO, I got enough money, bought a pin red nose armor, and it's Skyverse level 2 now. So slowly working on getting that up. And I think I'm not sure what I want to save money for. I'm not sure if I want to go for like a Garmoth heart or if I want to go for pin boots. I'm not really pre-ordering any of the Caphras. I'm just going to get them as I get them and just throw them into my armor. So,
are you still fasting and stuff?
No, I still have the idea of fasting. I like the idea better than actually doing it, apparently. So,
well, maybe get out and get some exercise. It sounds like are you feeling better? You sound pretty chipper today.
Oh yeah, I'm doing good. It was mainly just like where to go with my stream dilemma, right? Like, because am I personally like not enjoying BDO as much as I used to, and that's just because of the PvP and where it's currently at in BDO. And that's not necessarily that's a me problem. That's not my stream's problem. And so I was trying to figure out, all right, what if it's what do I do with my stream to make it something that people want to watch if it's not just about me going for goals that I want to go for. And I think I found my groove again with what I want to go, and we'll try it out this next week and see where that goes. Wednesday, we'll get into Odalita later, but I plan on playing with Blond Bear on Wednesday. I'm really looking forward to that. So
we still grinding together on Wednesday, Moreland?
Hell yeah, dude.
All right, that sounds good. And our very special guest this week is Blond Bear. Biohack got tired of us, so he never wants to talk to any of us again. So I'm very excited to get to know you a little bit more, Blond Bear. I've popped in your stream from time to time. I think you have the reputation of being, I thought there was a bug, being pretty much the BDO sweetheart of the directory. So maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself. I think you're a fellow Florida man too, kind of famously, right?
I am a fellow Florida man, and I work night shift. I have a full-time job outside of streaming, so I usually am up in the early a.m., like 6 a.m. Eastern. So if no one that's watching the streams have ever heard of me, it's because I'm never up at this hour. But yeah, I stream small and not for very long, and my days of the week are like not random, but they're bi-weekly, so you'll catch me the same days every 2 weeks. And yeah, I mean, I've been streaming for a little over almost 2 years actually now. But I just don't stream too often, right? Because I do have a full-time job outside of streaming. I do it mostly for fun and just for, who's going to be up at 6 a.m.? I mean, like, I used to have friends that I played every night, different games with, but now with me working night shift, it's a very different world. So.
You and Biceptus Prime and Potion Shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're up at 6 a.m., right, Potion?
I remember many, many long grinds with Potion Shop. All like early last year, the first half, we grinded like all the time.
Yeah.
Have you had a full-time job your entire BDO career?
Yes.
Wow.
Damn, dude.
Yep. That's why a lot of people like make fun of how RNG carried I am, because I really don't. I put all my free time into the game, but I don't. I don't get to play like 8+ hours a day.
And you recently got married too, right?
Yep. I got married in March, got a house in February, so that has taken even more time. I didn't realize how much time it would be taken having like actual adult responsibilities until it happened. I'm like, wow.
Good thing you got the grinding out of the way early.
Yeah, exactly. All the RNG clicked last year, so this year is just kind of a chill year.
I'm gonna stop bringing on people with wives and girlfriends and stuff. It's making us look bad.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Blond Bear actually leveled my sorceress to 63. So Blond Bear, he was in my party, and so what we did is Blond Bear actually went around Sawsons until I leveled to 63. So now Blond Bear can say to anybody that he's leveled at level 63 sorceress, because he's actually the one who took me over to 63.
True.
Wow, that's
AFK the whole time, or what?
Yeah, I was just we got 99.99% and then joined the party and then made it happen.
Oh, I thought you meant like
not the whole level.
All the way to 63.
No, we did Miramac Ruins 3-man party. That was back before we even knew about 5-man party.
4 or 5-man. Yeah, the revelation of 5-man changed, like not just the Miramac Discord, but Miramac for a lot of the active grinders there.
Bro, it's insane. A lot of our regions don't know about it. It's not a thing.
Mm-mm.
And that started because we did 2-man, and we found out 2-man was better than 3-man. We're like, wait a second, how does the math work up on this? And then we were like,
yep. And I was sent like a guide from like someone who stole a guide from Notorious, the guild, who made some 5-man rotation, and people just kept making it better and better and better.
Yep,
it's crazy.
I have never done a 5-man trees group.
It's not really something to.
Yeah, I've done it for an hour and then never done it for like
it is the most
6 more months, and then I'm like, I should go do that, and I'll do it an hour and then not go back for 6 months.
I did it solo. That was the way I like to do it.
Solo's good. Solo's not bad at all.
Hands for money every once in a while, but
Solo's very good for. It's the closest EXP you'll get to 5-man.
So, what'd you play before BDO?
Before BDO, I played WoW for about 14 years.
Okay, so a quick little stop there.
Yeah, I played WoW. I got like a laptop in high school. Played when Wrath of the Lich King came out. I did play when Classic was like a thing, but that's when I was like 12 and I had to like play my cousin's computer. But I played WoW for about 14 years. Did on and off heroic, mythic raiding as content came out. I had a bunch of friends from like high school and other stuff that we played all the time. Like legit would LAN party at my friend's house and like stay over there when I had like 3 days off work. And I'd sleep over there, and we just like game on WoW for like 3 days straight, and then I'd go back home and go to work.
That's the fucking dream, dude. I remember those days.
I miss them very much.
What's the worst expansion?
The worst expansion is probably Warlords of Draenor, almost purely because of the launch. I think the launch ruined it. Just like, well, yeah, the launch ruined it completely. Because I was there. We went to my friend's, my friend that I had LAN partied at all the time. We went to his brother's house in like Central Florida, and like there was like 8 of us in their like small apartment, and we had tables set up and everything, like an original like LAN party. and we had all kinds of like computers set up and everything, and everybody's ready to game as soon as the servers go live at 2 a.m. And then everybody sits there for 3 or 4 hours, and you couldn't even click the first quest mob in Warlords of Draenor, and everybody just rage quit at like hour 4.5, 5. And I sat there for 16 hours clicking the same quest thing. I was like, I gotta be the first. I gotta go. It was not worth it at all.
Wow.
It's pretty frustrating. So that expansion was ruined just by like all of our friends just mutually hating it. So that's when Archeage I think came out. So no, it was either Archeage or it was like BDO first coming out, I think.
Did you play Archeage?
Yeah, the original launch of Archeage in North America I did play. I also played the relaunch, which was unfortunately just not as good. Original Archeage though, like the progressive launch of like playing the game as like you would have to like literally make wagon wheels to sell in the market. So you'd buy the materials, use your labor to make the wagon wheel and sell it for like a 1 gold profit when the servers like were first coming out. Like that was the only game I think I've ever paid attention to like the market and like tried to use my brain a little bit on that kind of stuff. But I loved the original launch of Archeage. It was amazing. So I played that. I played WoW.
Did you get nostalgia when you went back to Unchained? For a little bit,
like a minute, but it's a very different game. The skill trees and everything were beautiful. I loved that aspect, and the fact that you could like max out all the skill trees and like that stuff I loved. But the gaming experience is so different. The new races, new classes, the fast forwarding system. It's an entirely different game, basically.
Are you excited or nervous about Archeage 2?
I don't know. It's like there were things like that. You know, a lot of people compare Archeage and BDO. In a short word, yeah, I'm excited for it. I hope it's great. But like the things that made Archeage good, like were, in my opinion, right? Like it was just a different MMO than like World of Warcraft. Like you've had like Ion and all these other games, but I don't know, for some reason they didn't compare like at all to Archeage. And there was like no information out on the internet about Archeage. Like there was no min-maxing because nobody knew anything. And like it was a slow progression. And they ruined it with this new one with like just putting people at max gear level like near instantly, and then you're stuck on like this labor progression thing.
Yeah. So before you were known as an RNG carried person, I think you were known for your grinding, weren't you?
Yep.
Do you have any accolades of grinding, or were you the first or second or third or anything?
Okay, so like I started streaming. So this is 2019. I started streaming like June, like actively streaming June 2018. And I had just gotten out of like I had like logged off for 20 or almost 30 days or something. So I stayed logged off for 30 days, and then I started playing again and streaming. We took like a break because I think we were playing. Me and my friend were playing Guild Wars 2, which I played that as well. I grinded before the remastered EXP Squish to 62 off of like the Marnie Stones at Gahaz.
Wow.
And that legit took forever. It was it was awful.
Yeah.
And then, in a nutshell, it was pretty awful. I hit like 250 AP just grinding there for EXP. And then the remaster came out. AFK Dummies came out. Miramach got reworked. EXP was squished. And I was like, well, I'll do it again. Because they made it easy to hit 62. And I was like, I have to do it again. I don't have a choice. Like, this is the thing. So, I was streaming, basically grinding Gahaz all the time. And then I eventually moved over to Miramach. And at the same time, I think Potion was like doing Miramach and like Sawsons and different stuff. And then at the time, It's Mr. Bub was also a streamer. So me, it's Mr. Bub, Potion Shop, and I, and then like anybody else in the Miramach Discord that could grind, were constantly doing 3-hour grinds. I was the first 65 Berserker NA. I don't know if I was the first 64. I think I was racing really hard against Hernd from Cho Nation, but I don't know. I can't recall if I beat him or not.
I don't know. He was super secretive. That guy was an animal. He was like, I'm just grinding history. It's no big deal. You don't rub me. He's like going up like 3% a day. You're like, how are you doing that?
I was so freaky about like EXP grinding that like I legit had a friend who was in his guild or was a friend of his. And I'm like, hey man, what's his EXP today? Hey, you're in Show Nation. Can you log onto his channel and tell me what his EXP is today? And like they're like, yeah, he just grinds history. And I'm like, okay, these EXP numbers aren't adding up. I don't understand. How is he making this much EXP? I was like freaking out. I was so anal about getting like the first 64, 65 Berserker.
That's funny.
It was silly.
Did you ever find out his secret?
He grinds all day. He like
That's it. He's just outpacing you with history.
yeah. He had monster AP back in the day. Like he still also has monster gear, but he had monster AP back in the day. I think he literally could grind like 8 to 12 hours because of his job, like allowing him to just like grind long terms. So yeah, I mean, no shame. Like, you know, he was hitting it hard, you know, but it was just like, I was just freaking out how to beat him, you know.
So you hit 65 a while ago, and I feel like 65 is still, even though people have had a lot of time to hit it, it's still pretty rare. Do you have some sense, like from the Mirrormock Discord and other things, how many 65s are actually on NA at this point?
It's actually a lot more than you believe. There's at least 5 to 10 66s. There is got to be at least 50 to 165s, I'd say.
You think like legitimately though?
So the problem legitimately is that ever since AFK dummies got introduced, anybody that realized that they could just sit there forever and that it was the best EXP per hour out of any spot because it's 24 hours, 7 days a week, like basically shot up. There's people that I never ever grinded Mirrormock with. Like I was pretty familiar with tons of people that grinded Gyphon, Mirrormock, like active daily grinders all the time because that's when I wasn't on night shift. I was doing like all kinds of regular daytime night shift hours, all kinds of stuff all over the clock. And there's people that I don't even know or never even seen them do Mirrormock that are 65 now because you don't need to grind it to hit that level. You could just AFK dummy, and then in your meantime, you could just, like, when you're actually playing the game, you can grind anything you want and still, like, compete with the top levels. And I really didn't care about AFK dummies until I realized people that didn't actually put the work in for the grind were actually hitting these levels. So, like, it completely invalidated my whole, like, value of EXP, so that's why I stopped caring. That's why I didn't even really push for 65 too hard last year, because once I hit 64 and, you know, just everything that happened like earlier that year was like so awesome. And then everything kind of got devalued as I realized, like, not against, I'm not trying to insult anybody that a bunch of nobodies hit levels, but it's like you get really familiar with the players that are like putting in the work and the time and the effort for these levels. And then people that like didn't even go to Mirrormock or hitting like the same level. It's like, dude. It's like, imagine like logging in and getting full like raid gear on like some video game like WoW or something. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
So I know Blade Boquez has a big problem with BDO because they changed the level caps and stuff like that. So does the level cap not bother you so much? Is it really just the AFK dummies that bother you?
No, I am so frustrated. Back when like Sausins was a thing, I was grinding Sausins for XP back in the day. That was like really, really good XP until Valencia got released. I've been like in the top 5 levels like on every channel for a very, very long time. Like I was actively grinding Sausins, immediately went to the desert, and I was like constantly in the top 5. I was grinding all the time as much as I could because like I do work full time now, but I had like a little less than full time hours, I guess, like, you know, sometimes something between like 30 and 40 hours sometimes. And I would like sacrifice a lot of sleep just to play because this game was awesome, like in like launch and Medaya and stuff like that. So no, I hate it. I hate the fact that they changed it so that they catered to like. I hate to sound sort of elitist, but when they changed it so that you don't have to hit 55 to 60, you have to hit 50 to 55 to get the HP. They changed it so that Skilled Hunter was moved back 5 levels. They made it so all the skills from 61, 62, 63 were moved back 3 or 4 levels. I hate that. I actually hate it because like you had to work for those skills. Like. You know, gear's already one thing you have to work for, but like level's another thing that like had value and now it no longer has value because you don't need to grind like anybody can just basically AFK to level. Like you need to hit 61, 62 maybe to finish off some abilities, and 63 if you want your passive. But like, you know, some like a game that has a limitless leveling system like that obviously like gets pretty. It's a hard soft cap. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
well,
frustrating.
to put this in perspective for players.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so to put this in perspective for players who might not understand how powerful this is, basically 2 years of AFK training on dummies will take you from 61 to 66. 2 years. If you just do it 2 years in your free time when you're not playing the game, like assuming you're doing like 8 to 16 hours a day of AFK training, you'll get 66 in 2 years of AFK training, and that's a lot. Like, a new player can just do that. So
I'm not busy.
I mean, it seems like a long time, but that's that's about half time it's been BDO, and I'm not 66 yet, and like that just shows you how fast that can happen.
Not to be undersold here, but I think Moreland just hit his very first level 63 character the other day.
I leveled up for the first time since 2017.
Oh my God. Wow.
That's crazy.
That's an early 62. I think my only grinding accolade is I got 61 the night before the patch to move that soft cap. It was like hundreds. It must have been 400 or 500 hours of Pilaku on an Awakened Warrior back in the day.
Pilaku, damn. I did 62 at Fogan's. I don't even remember where I did 61. It might have been Crescent Shrine.
Oh God.
I did 51 to 62 at Sawson's with a little bit of yeah. I did. I think the last 30% of 62 at Gyfin while that was a thing, and then 63 was about. I forget how much was it, Blonde Bear? 10%? I think it was like 10, 20% of 63 assassins. And then it just wasn't worth anymore. I think that's when we started going ham at Miramok at that point.
Yeah, it just became better, and the money was good because like 18,000 trash sold. Like that was more than Ackman history. You know, like that was crazy money. Even though you can only pull like 2,600 back in the day, and then, but yeah, it's definitely frustrating to see. You know, gear be one power level of a thing, and then level be a powerful like thing in the game, and to like completely devalue and make it easy for all players. I get that not everybody has every minute to play the game, and like you don't want to be too elite with your player base, but introducing AFK dummies and stuff like literally eventually solved that problem.
Interesting.
Well, the interesting thing is, you know, they allow people to be very elite when it comes to gear, but they don't really allow people to be elite when it comes to levels anymore. And you have to wonder why that is. You know, is it a monetization thing? Is there actually some design philosophy behind it? I agree. I think it's very strange. We used to really go after these level milestones, you know, whether it was for like the 61 or the 62 multipliers, like, you know, or the Kaposha accessories. Like there were things that we were chasing after back then, and now leveling is you get like 35 health or something. That's about it. And it just seems like a missed opportunity. I would really like to see them at some points, you know, mess with the level soft caps and allow people to push for 70 or 80 or something, and like have it really be like a non-linear grind to get up there and have some meaningful reason for people who want to like seriously put the time in and get ahead. Because it is different from gear. Like with gear, you can just get lucky or you can swipe or whatever. Like leveling needs to be its own reward in a different way.
Yeah, I grinded Miramok for the level. I didn't grind for the gear. Now I got extremely lucky, which I'm super thankful for, and I play this game every day, like to kind of pay it forward, right? But like I grinded only for EXP back in the day. Like if I was unlucky or an average lucky person, my gear would not be anywhere close to what it is. And I grinded purposely for EXP again, like not level or not, not gear, right? So it's frustrating to see all that like effort that I could have spent literally anywhere else and made quadruple the amount of money I made.
Yeah, I think other hardcore levelers like, you know, Big and Shiny and Dark Crusade kind of felt similarly. It's like they pushed super hard for these levels, then everything got squished, and it's like, well, I wish I'd been grinding for silver this whole time instead.
Yeah, it completely devalues. And I know that they kind of do this thing where they seem to not care too much about veterans. They seem to constantly keep pushing this new player experience narrative with like seasons and making most of the grind spots like that area. The fact that you can go to Stars Inn right out of seasons, like they just really want to advertise that because it makes them money, understandably. But like, there's I don't know. Just
I think it's also because they've sort of forgotten some of the original spirit and the original addictiveness of the game too. Because like we saw this on console too, how they kind of like powered through the expansions too quickly, and it's like, man, they really forgot how good those early days were. Like they could lean on that a lot more and bring that back in certain ways if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe they robbed console players. They literally robbed them of an amazing experience in the game, and just were like, all right, let's just train you through the experience. All aboard the.
Yeah. Well, we had a good 6 months on Xbox. PS4 was insane though. It was like day one, there was already tri-gear, and like they just railroaded everybody right through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
The right up until they've shoved Valencia down our throat, but right up until that point, it was you know, going from Calpheon to Badiah was some pretty good times.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Even,
So you have a reputation of being RNG carried. I know about the Black Star. Are there other pieces that you like?
Do you want to open this?
How bad does it?
I might have to take a break here.
And is it pretty disgusting?
It's awful, and I'm gonna warn you. I can tell you. I can go through a quick 1-2 minute spiel, or you could say no and take the blue pill and continue this podcast. But you're gonna make some people pretty upset.
No, let's take the.
Oh my gosh!
Ends left and right. What are we talking about here?
I'm reliving all the nightmares of my gearing up process.
You failed the Black Star once, right? Didn't you get on the second swing?
Yes, I did. I did 2 tap Pin Black Star.
Oh, so you're already
the same amount of Pin Black Star fails as Tim Allen.
But there's a lot more. There's a lot more. I can tell you if you're interested, but I don't want to.
It's still try.
All right, let's go through it. Let's go through the 60 bill in a week, and the Pin Ogre. I think are also worth. I think both those are worth mentioning.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, we could go backwards, right? Like, because if I went from the beginning, it sounds like a progressional story. Backwards probably sounds better. Yeah. I just earlier this year, because I hit Pin Black Star last December. So, like, all of last year was my first pen and basically my last pen for my gear set. This year, the only thing I've accomplished is getting a Pen Ogre, because buying the house, getting married, going on a honeymoon for like a whole month was super, super busy. I haven't got to play any games, and learning to live in a house is different, when you're on your own compared to like living with other people or other things. So it's been kind of a big learning year. But I had like 30 bill, and I just got bored one day and started slapping necklaces off stream on like a 100 fail sack, and I was like, well, that's unfortunate because I kept failing. And then I slapped my necklace that I currently had on, and then I was like, well, that didn't go. That's sad. And then I had a few billion silver left. I bumped it to like a 150, and then like 3 weeks later, after I grinded some more money, I bought another necklace, and then I did like a stream. This was my first streamed one. I didn't stream any of the attempts. I did like 5 attempts off stream, and then I just turned on the stream and tried to pull an Ari Love by just letting it sit there for a while. I could only last about 30 minutes before I was like, okay, I can't wait here any longer. Like I can't stand sitting there for too long. And then we tapped the necklace.
You lasted 30 minutes?
yeah, it's hard. I'm like I don't like baiting it. I don't like doing that. But like, I don't know. It's like
no wonder you're married.
I had to pour one out for Ari Love, Yeah. But we got the necklace, and that was like crazy because I got stupid carried on that. It was like a 150 stack or something for. Like,
so how many attempts should it have taken, and how many did it take?
Well, it's a 10% chance, so approximately 10 or more attempts on a 150. But you shouldn't be tapping pen accessories on a 150 stack. It was extremely foolish, and kind of got rewarded for being foolish. I should have just saved the money. I was like almost halfway there, so yeah.
That's not that crazy though. So you got very lucky on the Pin Black Star, and you got like pretty lucky, like probably top 20% or so on the Ogre Ring. But that's not like top. That's not insane. What else happened?
My first pen was from 2018 into 2019, New Year's. I was there. It was me, Potion Shop, Saiku, Stone Spoon, It's Mr. Bub, and it was like my 7th pen attempt. I got my Dandelion out of the whole group. We like counted it down to midnight or whatever.
We're like, Happy New Year! Click, and Blond's got pinned.
I'm just like, ah! Like I was screaming bloody murder. I woke my wife up, and she's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing. Happy New Year." I was freaking out.
The ball dropped.
Yeah, exactly. So that was that, and then basically after that, I was kind of like doing all kinds of weird stuff with my gear. There was a 5-hour spree where I had a little bit of money prepped. I tapped my Ogre. I bought like 2. I got like a duo Ogre from Shikatu or something. I got a duo Ogre from like an RNG box, and then I had like my, I think, Tri Ogre. And then I tapped 2 Ogres to try, and then I did an attempt on like the 2 necklaces I had, and then the one I had the one I had equipped, one of the necklaces, and then the third one went. Then I sold whatever other materials I had, and then so
by the way, that was Ogre. 1 billion silver in the bank. That wasn't that was nothing that special.
Yeah. So then I sold everything else, and then I bought, with like whatever I had left, I guess I bought 3 Tet Zarkas and slapped 3 times for Pen Zarka and got it. Well, I slapped all 3. The last one went.
Oh, okay.
And then immediately after that, I went and tapped the Dream Horse on like 3 fail stacks.
Jesus.
That was a crazy spree. Yeah, that was wicked. And then I tapped my second Dream Horse, which is a Doom, on 4 fail stacks. Like just with spare materials. Like I don't actively tap horses too often. And then like I just like slowly but surely just kept tapping pen armors. Like I was doing a roulette and I tapped my Gieth like without even chroning it or anything. I just tapped it because I was trying to build a fail stack on like a 96. I did a 62 fail stack pen Kudum. That was like my second or third attempt. I think my Gieth was literally a 1 tap.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have all these low stack attempts? Did you just get tilted at times, or
no? Like so, this is the method, right? So the 62 fail stack pen Kudum is because so the 62 fail stack pen Kudum was because someone in my stream donated money. They're like, "Hey, do a pen click." I had like 9 billion silver. I was gonna buy a pen Kudum because they're pretty cheap at the time. I was like, no, I just need someone to sell it to me. I'm gonna buy it. He's like, no, just click it. I'm like, the only way I'm gonna click a pen Kudum currently is if someone donates me enough to buy crons. Like, there's no way I'm gonna do it. Dude shoves a bunch of money my way, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll buy 2 outfits and click to cron it, right? Like, so I buy 2 outfits, and I'm gonna click it, and I'm like, but I don't have any fail stacks. I was like literally out of fail stacks. That's why I wanted to buy the Kudum. And they're like, well, if you buy a piece of tech gear, you can extract it and then tap 2 Gruntle pieces, and then you'll have like a 70 stack. And I was like, okay, so we did that, and I didn't reach 70, I reached 62. And then I was like, okay, I guess we'll be stupid and click this because you donated for this. Like, I don't care. I still have 9 bill in the bank. We failed the first attempt, and then I'm like, well, I'm here, and I got crons in the bank anyways. I guess I'll do it one more time. And then it went, and you can, if you've ever seen the clip, I'm just like I had to cover my face. I was so shocked. I was like, I couldn't freaking believe it. I was like, this is so stupid. Like, this shouldn't have happened.
yeah?
But
Who was the person who goaded you into it?
Man, what's his name?
Did you give that person VIP or what?
Yeah, I did, but he literally disappeared. He had to go, like, he's in some other country across the seas. Like, he had to go to his army or something. Like, he was recruited into like shipment or something. Like, he hasn't logged in ever since. Like, he literally logged in, chatted to my stream a few times, donated the money, and I haven't seen him literally in like a year plus. Like, he's just gone.
My experience at Miramok was Blond would show up, and then he would have a Tri-Ogre, and then he would show up again, and he'd have nothing. And I'm like, what happened to your necklace? I'm like, I'm wearing like a Duo Seraps. Like, what? Next day he'd show up, he had another Tri-Ogre. Well, how'd you get that? It's like, well, I opened up an RNG box, I got a Duo and a Smash it for Tri. The next day he's like, and then the next day he comes back, he's like, I have a Tri-Ogre. You're like, what just happened? Like, you just went to, you blew it. How did it happen? It's like a 3-day process, you know? You're just like,
the amount of random pens I would click when doing a party with Bub and Potion Shop, like I would just go to town, slap something, because I don't know if DP did not matter.
I'm going to go repair my gear, and he's like, oh yeah, I got a pin.
Yeah, it was silly.
I remember seeing 4 pens one day.
Yes. Okay, so the day I got Pen Blackstar, I had saved up 80 outfits or something, and I was waiting for the cron change. The cron change finally came through. So 80 outfits turned into like 20,000, 21,000, 22,000 crons. And so I was like, cool, awesome. And that's when I tapped the Pen Blackstar. I don't even have a clip of the Pen Blackstar because I was baited into it by some of my guildies in Discord. They were like, oh, you won't do it. I'm like, dude, look at all these pens people are clicking. They're like, you won't do it. You're too scared. I'm like, dude, I've got like 6 pen clicks or something. Like, I don't mind doing one off stream. Like, it ain't going to go. It's like a 4% chance. Like, there's no way it wouldn't happen. And then I clicked it and freaked out. So I was very upset because I told everybody in my stream, I'm like, I'm going to click it Wednesday when the patch goes live. And the patch came like a day early or something. And I was like, shiz. Well, you know, 1 click wouldn't hurt.
I've never met somebody so humble and or apologetic for their success or luck.
I just feel bad, right? Like, I feel like I robbed the community of the Black Star. Like, I saved and grinded on stream. I did everything, and I was like, I just felt so like I told everybody to wait, and I couldn't wait. I was too selfish, and I felt so bad.
Yeah, for that, you are an asshole for sure. But
why did you click? So you clicked Pen Blackstar, and then right after
I clicked Pen Blackstar, and I had 20,000 crons left over. So I 8-tapped a Pen Nuver. I literally bought Libras off the market, tapped those to pens, sold them. Bought Muskins, tapped those to pens, sold them, and that basically funded all of my C9 gear. And I sold the Nuver too because I was like, well, I hit Pen Blackstar, so I have enough AP. I don't need the Nuver anymore. How
long did you wait for the costume patch? Was that a long
It was only like 2 or 3 months. I think it was like.
I've been thinking about doing that because I know there's another price increase coming, but it's like so hard to have the patience for it.
It's extremely difficult. 100%. I'm right there with you because I really want to tap Dead God Day 1, but it's going up by literally 20. It's going up by a third, right? It's going from 333 to 444 or something like that. In Krons,
who knows what they're gonna do?
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been told from the other regions, but I don't know if they're gonna even do that. I don't know if that was a SCA specific thing or what, but yeah, that was the 4 pins one day. I literally after I tapped the pin Black Star because I have to like the days that I come off of a weekend and I'm about to work. I usually don't like streaming that morning because I like to sleep a little extra to be ready for work. That morning was one of those days where I wasn't going to stream at all because I was going to wait for the next day, and that's when I did the 4 pins one day, and I streamed as soon as I clicked the Black Star because I felt so bad, and then everybody in the stream just goaded me into, click everything else. You got the Krons, might as well. So that's what led to 4 pins one day. That wasn't supposed to be a thing that happened. It just kind of did. Yeah, and everything else has been like the highest stack I ever used on a pen, other than the Black Star, obviously, which I have a hard time building stacks, was a 122 fail stack on my Bags gloves. That was the only thing that took more than like 8 attempts, I think. The Bags gloves was 22 attempts. Everything else is under like 8 attempts. I think I was full pen in less than 60 attempts or something.
Fuck you. Sorry, that's great.
This is. I had to completely change how I was playing the game because. But every time I'd be grinding like 14 hours a day, like and then I'd get a piece of gear, and the next day Blond would be like, click, and he's like, it's like I could never keep up with them, so I had to change the entire way I was playing the game in order to like not have a mental breakdown from Blond Bear's RNG.
Yeah,
We had a Super Saiyan meme, so it was basically like Potion Shop, and he's like punching at the dude, and then every time Lomber's is dodging with gear upgrades, he's like, choo, 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 choo. Bro, there's been so many things going back and forth about that. I think my favorite thing that you've done so far is probably the RNGesus, where you put your face in RNGesus, and you're just like, I bless thee with RNG.
Yeah, it's been hard creatively to come up with like new ideas and things that are creative for my stream because I think I'm a very uncreative person. I am 100% genuinely me. I just like playing the game and helping people out, and I am so bad with like being a creative person that I searched so long for like inspiration for like a concept or an idea for something silly to do. That took forever to come out with because it's so hard for me to like come up with like concepts and ideas and like make sure I don't feel foolish when I'm doing it, but also make it fun for the viewers. That was really hard, but it came out literally perfect, I think. Yeah, it was awesome.
So I want to touch on PvP just a little bit and your guild before we get on with the show here. So why'd you join Snake?
So, funny story. I had been in Habiru with Fake Uniform. I had been in Spell with Potion Shop. I had been in Artisans, which is an awesome guild of friends from a long time ago. I was in Throne, and I think I was in Habiru at the time because it was like Ghost Rags, me, Potion, Fake, and like someone else. I think we were just like hanging out, and then we had a bunch of other friends that were in the guild. And I legit sat in Discord with either Ghost or Potion Shop all day, grinding Miramok or doing whatever I was doing. And so when I hit 64, I was being stream sniped by Snake. For a long time, I had no idea about Siege. I don't do Siege. I don't do Node Wars. I don't do any of that. I don't do any PvP. I actually hate PvP. I think there's no point to a lot of it, and it's unfortunate that there's no purpose because I would like for there to be PvP because I love PvP and Archeage. So I was going for 64, and there was like 1 or 2 people from Snake stream sniping me. And I was like, that's when I hit my pen Dimtree, and I was like, oh, hey, thanks, Snake, for hitting my pen for me. You slapped my chest a bunch to give me RNG. But that kind of got me, I guess, on their radar. And then, not paying attention to the Siege scene back like last year, it's like, oh, man, BR, Cho, and Snake, like the big guilds, like if you're somebody, you're in these guilds, like, oh, and then obviously there's Aftershock too. And I'm just like, I want to be in one of these cool people guilds. Like I'm in a guild with my friends, it's just fun and stuff. But like, I want to be like,
hey, Moreland, you all right, buddy?
Sorry, I'm just glad he added Aftershock and onto the list. We wouldn't want to leave that out.
That basically sums up Aftershock as an idea. Is an Aftershock.
Yeah, and so I wanted to be in one of these big guilds. I had no idea about any guild drama. I had no idea how thick the like blood runs for some guilds and like their PvP hard-ons for each other, and I didn't know about any interworking relationships or I didn't know anything. Like legit, I sat in Discord Potion Shop playing a simple game for EXP all day, every day. So Snake invites me to their Discord. I think it was Zethian sent me an invite, and then someone that I have been talking to is Rehab, who's a member of the guild. And he was like super kind. He was really nice to me. He'd been on a lot of my karaoke streams because I did a lot of karaoke streams last year. And, he was hyping me up to come join. And I was like, I hopped in their Discord. I was chatting with them and they're like, yeah, man, drop guild. But like, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know Rehab wasn't an officer and he was just memeing me. He's like, yeah, just drop guild. We'll get you in. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I was being naive and I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, sure. So I dropped guild and they're like, wait a second. Rehab isn't anybody. He's not an officer. What are you doing? I was like, oh, okay, well, no big deal. And then, out of like the joke, they basically invited me.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, cool. I'll be a teddy bear mascot. And at that time, I had full pen. I think like I was literally like 1 or 2 pens away from stuff. I had full TED accessories. Like I was pretty decked. Like sitting on a siege wall as a berserker with a 3-minute Q buff. I mean, like. I wasn't anybody, but I was useful a little bit. So
you do go to Siege and stuff, or
yeah?
did it?
Unfortunately, I can only go to every other Siege because my work schedule. It's just I literally want a bi-weekly schedule. If I can get a Saturday off extra that I don't have, then I can go. But on the days that I have off, I go. Yep. I don't like go to war or anything like that. I actually hated Siege prior to joining Snake. I think Snake's been the best Siege experience I've ever had. I hate regular Siege.
What's your favorite part about Snake?
The members have always been extremely like respectful and kind to me, but I think that everybody like treats me with gloves. Like a lot of people like are like, I don't like smack-talking people. I don't like being mean to people. So like, when people haze people that are getting into the guild, like I wasn't like hazed at all, but I watch other members come in and get hazed. And then like, it seems like I'm treated with like a rubber glove effect, but only because I'm a PMA guy. I'm positive. I'm nice to everybody I know. I don't really. I couldn't smack talk somebody really if I wanted to. I can get frustrated about things, but when Trep X is like my fake but not fake rival in the guild, and anytime he comes at me, like a bunch of guildies come up and start smack talking him for me because they know I won't say anything mean to anybody because it's just not me. And it's just been like everybody's super awesome and kind to me. I really. I've had a good time.
How's Trep doing? Did he dodge all the ban waves?
I think he got a new account. He got a new account, geared it up to seasons.
Okay. Yeah, good for him. So, good for him.
I don't know if he's actively in the guild or not. I know he was in Snake with HP and he was doing their Node Awards with them, but I don't know.
What's your least favorite thing about Snake?
The guild rivalries. The BR rivalry literally is the bane of my existence. I hate having to look over my shoulder because some Sork wants to fight me because they want a guild point. I actually hate that the most. Like I treat everyone how I want to be treated, right? I if I see someone in a grind spot that I want, I'm like, hey man, are you going to be long? Do you want to duel for spot? Like, are you heading out? Like, I'll talk with someone before I PvP them because there's no point in wasting someone else's time. When I got 4 hours to play the game, I just want to grind. I don't want to bother someone else's maybe 1 hour they get to play a day. Like with how much hours I have to grind for the next piece of gear, I do not want to bother anyone at all. So, I try to be kindful and respectful. And there's a few members in BR I think that I have like a mutual thing with, but there's members that legit will, if they see me on a certain channel or something, they'll just come straight for me and hunt me down. So that's the least.
If you're such a nice guy and you dislike guild rivalries and stuff, why were you spying on my guild in Discord?
Okay, so let me explain the situation. Okay, so this was when we did the snake to snake but with HP switch, and we were out of guild, and I was gathering. This is when the mana and HP pot came out. Mm-hmm. I finished the HP pot like in a week, and then I was grinding the mana pot. I finished every piece. I literally had just the gathering piece. I don't do any life skills. I don't have gathering gear. I don't even know how to get 5 gathering without being in a guild. I was out of a guild. I went to Filter. I'm like, hey, Filter, can I merc in your guild, like, as a meme, but also, like, can I get your guild buffs? I need them. And they're like, And I'm like, okay. Hello? No answer? Okay. And so I messaged some other guild. I think it was either a meme ask to BR or some other, I think it was Show, and they never got back to me. And then I messaged, I think it was Tyreek.
Did you type it in Chinese?
No, I don't know how to. I don't know how to type that. But then I messaged. I think it was Tyreek, who was a friend that was in Aftershock. I think he was like an officer. I'm not sure. Sorry, not Tyreek. I guess his name was Hold on, let me find.
Aftershock's just one blur to me, dude. I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember his. Oh, Side Slash. Anyway, so I messaged him like, "Hey man, can I get into the guild? I need like guild buffs." And like,
Tyreek, did you just dox him?
What?
This is real name.
I have no idea. It's his Discord name, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Oopsie. So I messaged him like, "Hey man, I need guild buffs, and also like I've always wanted to be an Aftershock because like I'm a fan of like being in guilds with my friends, and like I'm pretty friendly with everybody in the streaming directory. So you got Tim Allen, you got Potion Shop again. I think I don't know if Moreland. I don't know if you were in Aftershock.
Yeah, he was
at the time. You were okay. So and Joe, and I was like, dude, this would be so cool. And so like he's like, yeah, sure, I can get you in. So then I joined. So I'm in the guild, and I was chatting with you, and then Kinjara, I was chilling in my Snake Discord talking to, because like we hang out pretty often. I was chatting with Kinjara, and he's like, hey, what rotation did you do for the Banchon piece? And I'm like, well, I literally was only there for 5 hours, but I did this, and I opened up my map, and I started streaming, and I literally showed him where all the Manchom spawns, and then that's when you messaged me when you saw the clip, and I was like, oh, that looks awful. Oh God. And I was like, hold on, man. This isn't just. So like Kinjara literally watched my stream for 5 minutes, and I completely forgot to turn it off. And that's when you messaged me that, and I was like, that's
just like screaming.
So was Kinjara baiting you, or was it just an accident?
No. He was genuinely going for the potion piece. I'm pretty sure he's finished with it. No, I mean, I don't think we even talked about anything specific because you were just like, hey, what are you doing here? And I can't even remember the DM. I mean, I could look at our DMs, but
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just felt bad because I was like, man, this looks really awful, and I have no way to defend this. Like, I could say, oh, I was just doing X, Y, Z, and I'm like, this just looks bad. Like, I'm over the dead body in Among Us, and like, somebody vented out, and like, I'm screwed. Like, I literally was like, I have no way to redeem this, and no matter how many times I explain it, I mean, you could still be extremely suspicious because it just doesn't look right. You know what I mean? So.
Sagi was losing his fucking mind. He's a really intense guy in general. Apparently he's Canadian, but he sounds like he's from New York. I don't know if you've ever heard my clip of him, but he's like, Blond Bear's a fucking rat. He's a rat. He's streaming it. We got to get him out of here. Why is he even in the fucking Discord? I fucking hate rats. Snake's going to kill our guild. Why are you letting this happen to like, he just dug into me, which was honestly, the entire experience of me running a guild is other officers just digging in.
Good times, man.
Yeah, I felt real bad. I didn't mean to cause any stress or whatever. I literally just wanted
Tuesday, man. Literally a 2 out of 10.
My favorite thing though was like waving to Joe or saying hi, Joe, and Joe freaking out in guild chat. I thought that was the funniest thing. He's like, "What? No way!" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's the end of that." And then I was out of the guild by the next day because of the thing. So. I was like,
oh, you were laying low. That's right. You were laying low because you didn't know if the Snake with HP thing was going to be legal.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a joke or a thing. I didn't even know it was about a protest about the HP thing. I mean, everybody hated it, and luckily it got changed, which is cool for some people, depending on what side of the fence you're on. But yeah, I'm kind of glad the change went through because I legit went through an existential crisis about what class I want to play because 10k HP is awful for a Q buffing Zerker. Like I literally become a CC bot. I already was a CC bot, but I could kill people. Now I'm on the bottom of the kill feed because I'm absolute garbage because I actually have to try now. And I was like, shoot. So that's why I rolled Mage for like a month or two. And then I was like, yeah, I don't know. I like the grind on Zerker better. So
I'm glad you went back on that.
It's just, it's so hard to beat a class when you played it for 4 years. And Zerker is like an infection. I feel like as soon as you get into it or attached to it, you really can't break off. It is so hard to beat the convenience of...
I've been playing it. It's my third character that I got to 61. I'm still playing it. Even right now, I'm grinding for the potion piece on it. It's so good.
We can see it in your glasses.
You see it?
So one last question, and not to like dive into this entire can of worms, but if you got like a minute answer or something,
Mhm.
did you think that the mapping thing? What are your thoughts on that? Was that
It's hard and complicated, right? Like, when all the drama was going on, when everybody's opinions were surfacing and people were rubbed against each other the wrong way, it was very interesting. I like to stay out of it, but at the same time, like, I have my opinions, right? I completely agree with Moreland had the most like right, I think, idea and concept of it. Like the whole idea that like we don't know where the line is, so until we know where the line is, it's frustrating and complicated.
wait, say that again. He loves it when people say he's right.
Oh. Moreland was like the most right, I think. I think he had the smartest like legal answer about it. Like because he Moreland, you were like, basically, it's been a while, so I can't recall, but you said like we don't know where the line is, and until they define it, it's not fair to take any judgment or anything, right? Like until they define, what we did wrong or what was wrong or whatever, like they can't just say like, oh well, you broke the rules, right? Like for the random mapping event stuff, right? So I totally agree with that. But looking at how much money you could make, I think that they, when it comes to players and equality and things like that, I think that like people have this awful feeling in their gut when they see someone making X amount of money instantly, like crazy, like out of nowhere with zero effort. I think that even if it's not a legal exploit or whatever you want to call it,
I do that all the time.
it looks bad.
Touch
with a 20-foot pole. Like I wouldn't touch any of it with a 20-foot pole. I'm like, I don't want any of it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want anything. And that was my opinion. Should they have permabanned? I don't think so. I think that was unfortunate, and I know that you're frustrated with that, Tim, because you lost friends that got permabanned because they were next to a person that didn't get permabanned. Like that's a totally sucky situation. That doesn't feel good for anybody involved. Like I don't know. It's frustrating because they also like had the same thing happen a year ago in Korea. So like, not that everybody should always be paying attention to everything that goes on in Korea, but we knew that like this could have happened, and then it literally did, and then people technically got punished like not even as bad as KR. We had 20 or 30 permabans, and then like everybody else got a light slap on the wrist. It was insane. Like it was nuts. It was so awful and uneven. It was like or uneven. Sorry, it was like an awful like sand pit of just dunes in all the wrong places. I feel like it was not right at all. Ugh.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of silly overall though, because you can sell 35 costumes and make more money than the majority of Black Rose members did running the maps, and so for them to be so, for something that could be deemed a exploit or non-exploit, right? To take such a heavy-handed approach to it, and then the next a month later they did like RMT, and they're like 3-day ban,
right?
Yeah, it's like, what is going on? And they have since reversed the RMT thing and making it a permaban situation, but I still feel like that's, I still feel like they've handled it pretty poorly.
I just can't believe that Biohack didn't get banned for all of his exploiting.
Yeah, man, that dude's making trillions of silver. How is he? What the?
Trillionaire?
Yeah, how is that not market manipulation when he's dialed it down to I can create a pen in X amount of minutes. Watch, and then how does that not? What?
Yeah, let's get him banned.
I think he should have some weird random RNG modifier added to his account, because once you break the formula, basically being able to dupe money, like it's borderline hacking, dude.
That's some very strong.
Interesting.
I don't really care. He doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form, and he doesn't take up a grind spot. I am A-okay with him. He makes pens,
cheap accessories for you, Slam.
Cheap accessories and pens, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I love it.
He was saying some really nasty personal things about you last week, though. I have to tell you.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch last week.
I know. I'm kidding.
He was very angry about you tapping your pin Black Star and him taking him more than average odds.
I could imagine anybody's frustrated at anything I clicked. I also got 2 compasses in 300 hours, and I got my map in 60 hours. So
how do we mute him?
I got both of my potions in less than 130 hours. I got my piece at Roneros in 5 minutes. So
Stop.
Can they just make those pieces sellable in the market?
That would be nice. I would actually go back and probably grind some of that stuff if it was a thing.
It's actually a good idea.
Yeah, people were talking about wanting to make the Eltham piece a sellable item for a long time to make like spots like that relevant again, and I thought that'd be a good idea.
I don't know. I feel like
It's complicated, yeah.
it those items like that you can grind for make it where people like Biohack have a reason to play the game past this enhancing gear, you know. And I feel like that's kind of nice. Like once your gear capped, you can go back and get those anyway.
Someone in chat makes a good point. Blond Bear, are you going for the merchant ring? Because that's going to take you what, like 6 weeks tops?
Yeah, not too much, right? Because like now they've made it grindable. You don't have to wait on your rifts, and you don't have to wait on like some sea monster hunting BS. Which I cannot believe they added a sea monster hunting piece to the ring. I think that was so insane. Because like I literally was gonna have to hire someone to ride me on their boat to go kill things for 8 hours a day. But yeah, I'm excited. They made it all grindable or whatever. So I will be going for that as soon as I hit Dead God.
Dead God.
Look, man. I know you're in Snake, but hiring somebody to help you in the game is not in the spirit of the game. It's known as RMTing, and as of a couple of weeks ago, you can get permanently banned for that. So you might want to change your tune on that.
So okay, so by paying, I mean hanging out with and probably watching movies with my friend Ghost Rags because he has a nice.
I actually asked for clarification on from Cacao on that recently because. If you sub to somebody and then you grind with them, is that considered RMT? Right? Because like like how strict do they get with it? Because like, all right, Tim, you're sub to me, but what if we decide to go and grind, Abandoned Monster together? And they're like, oh well, you're just paying Potion Shop to go grind with you. Like, I don't know. I feel like how strict are they going to be on that? So I actually did ask for clarification on that.
Did you get any?
Not yet. They said they're looking into it. So.
They said they'll look into it.
Yep, they said they're looking into it right now.
They said they'll look into whether or not subbing to someone on Twitch is RMT.
Subbing to somebody and then grinding with somebody is RMT. Yeah, they said they're going to look into that. I'm surprised it's not an instant no, but...
I feel like they have to jump through so many hoops to be able to prove that the person that subbed is the person in the game in the party. I don't think they could even if it was something that even you admitted to, they can't like literally prove.
Well, you had to link your accounts in order for Twitch traps, so now they can.
The government knows where we are.
It's true. Holy cow.
So, actually, I've been playing Star Wars Galaxies on
that looks awesome
on a new server, and they have to take RMTing super seriously, and so they're all on donations and stuff to keep the servers up, but they're not allowed to make money. And so I was like, oh well, when I stream this game, I'll just put like half my donations go to SWG or something. And the guys were like, no, don't ever say that again. That's RMTing. They'll call you like leveraging the game to make profit or something and ban you. It's like, oh, fuck. Okay, I was just trying to help. So, a lot of these, I don't know, it felt like a related thing to say. Shall we go through the notes that we have here a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump into it. We got a few things to go through. I tried to come up with interesting topics. There was no patch in BDO this week, and there was no patch on Global Lab this week. The Koreans had some type of holiday, so that's why that happened like that. The big news this week is the news next week, which is Odalita is coming out October 7th.
You nailed it, dude.
Yeah, there you go, man. You got it.
Odalita!
Okay, well, now we lost it again.
All right, so yeah, it's coming out. What do you guys think? What are you guys going to be doing? What's the plan?
We're going to
be grinding with Tim Allen.
We're going to get Dead God before you.
I'm going to be grinding with Potion Shop.
Hell yeah.
Too.
Is it what is that grind spot? Is it a 2-man spot?
It's a 2-man spot, 270 AP. There's an elite that can kill you if you have 350 DP if you're not careful. They spawn pretty quickly. Each mob drops like 6 to 7 trash loot worth like, I think it's 18,000. So you pull like 3 and 3 mobs together and basically kill 6 mobs and run to the next spot.
And the actual drop's pretty easy, right? Like most people get it in the first week or so.
Yeah, every Korean streamer that I've seen has got that, and then I saw some other guy with the costume already. So I'm guessing like a handful of lucky people here and there are going to be getting them pretty quickly. But I have like 4 days set aside to grind.
Have you been watching which Odalita spots actually seem viable outside of like Dead God?
There's only like 2, right? There's the Toro spot and the Vidir spot. The Vidir spot's really nice. With the Ring Edition, I think it's going to be great. The Toro spot's decent, but it's like any 2-man spot. It's only decent if you and your friend are pulling like fast enough to kind of be competitive. Like it's as fast as you'll let it go,
Mm-hmm.
But they're okay.
How about we do a little friendly wager? The 2 of us here, the 4 of us, the 2v2.
That might be RMT.
Oh, yeah.
There's no money involved. Can I fucking finish?
It's not a spirited game.
Jesus Christ. Whoever gets the two, both of us have to get it. Both the people in the same team get it first. They have to restart Aftershock.
No.
That would require me to also join a guild. I don't think I've been in a guild in a while.
I want to be in a
let
guild.
me check. Let me check. I forget. Yeah, I'm not in a guild. Okay.
Tim, do you want to restart Aftershock?
So bad. I really want to get back in the PvP scene. I love BDO and its PvP community.
We'll do it. I'll join. I need some guild to join anyway.
We got one.
I mean, I'm going to be growing with potion shop, so I guess if we get it.
Blond Bear, if we
I guess.
Guess I got to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was trying to get my Black Star back to Tet so I could be an effective grinding partner with Morrowind, but I failed 58 times to get my Black Star to Tet.
Wait, what?
Crazy.
Is that try attempts, or you actually went 58 Tet attempts?
Yes, 58.
That's crazy.
That's 5 and 8 put together.
You must be getting some good stacks off of it.
200 stack, 155 stack, 180 stack, 155 stack. There's another 170 stack that I burnt already. My latest 155 stack was that 89 stack from before. That was literally a free 60 stack that they gave us.
Wow.
And so I've been shitting out these amazing stacks. So as soon as I get that Dead God piece,
Dude,
it's gonna be fucking dry. It's gonna be fucking dry.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
I think my duo stack's gonna be that 145. I know it's overstacked, but I don't fucking care. And then my tri stack's gonna be a fucking.
Yeah, you can just cron try and you're good to go.
Just fucking win.
I'm taking a really crazy approach to my Armor of Dead God. At least up to try. I'm going to actually not cron it until it's try.
Can you ping me when you start doing that on Discord so I can just get a bottle of whiskey and laugh and cry with you?
Well, because I think that making a fail stacks is more difficult than it's easier than actually getting the crons. I mean, unless they do some unless they greatly increase the pay to win in BDO, where they pay to winners are going to sell costumes like mad. Costumes are just going to be impossible to buy. So the only other strategy is to get fail stacks if you're not going to be able to buy costumes. So,
remember that time you were getting stream sniped for the whatever it's called?
No, I've been stream sniped like every single day since I started playing BDO.
I was gonna say what time? I mean, when is he not?
That's been happening for 3 years straight now, bro.
The history of Summer's time. That's
happened multiple times also.
Oh my fucking god. You referenced that the hour and 38 minutes that your stream sniped was the least fun you've ever had in BDO. And so I'm excited for you to top that by not using crons on your Dead God.
Oh, I actually have already looked it up. The Koreans don't use crons going for Pry and Duo.
You're not Korean.
That I don't think I have to be Korean. Is that a requirement?
I just don't think it's going to work well for you, man.
I think that
don't worry, I'll hit you up. I'll hit you up. I'll let you know. I'll hit you up.
Pry and Duo not cron is fine. I think that the try is difficult, right? Because you're tapping like a duo on a 120 to 150 maybe, and a try on like a 180 to 200 plus. Like if you don't have a stack, maybe I could see it, but I think there's more efficient things to burn for a stack. But like Pry and Duo is easy, right? Because a Pry is like a 50 to 80 stacks, and if you get it up to 100, you're making a second Duo tapping stack.
I'm using lower stacks than that though for my Duo because because I'm not cronning it. I'm going to be using something like.
So you're just like making the stacks while you're also getting ready for it. Then
I'll probably be using something like maybe 70, 80 stacks for Duo. That's kind of what
80
I'm
stacks for Duo
to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a stack.
Yeah. Just use the lower ones. I mean, that's assuming I don't get crons. So if I can get crons, then cool. Then that won't be a problem. I'll just cron it.
Maybe next podcast you can just share your screen instead of your face so we can see you. No, I do want to see your face when you fail. Never mind. It's so bad.
Yeah, I'm not doing it right away though. Like I'm currently Cavalry Level 2 in my chest, and I don't have any.
Oh fuck, dude!
Like this is. Whew. Yeah, that's like.
You have an axe? You got an axe? You're gonna get out there and.
I mean, I just bought my pin chest like 2 days ago. or 4 days ago, I guess. I bought it between last podcast and this podcast. I bought a pin chest.
Getting
So.
C10 chest, yeah, I remember that. But getting C10 chest was one of the worst things I've ever done in this game. It was just such a non-rewarding grind.
No.
I wasted so much money on that back in like April, just thinking Odalita was coming out.
Before you too. I did it like 2 months before you, and I was like, oh man. I tried to message you, but you don't read my chat when you're streaming.
I think what I'm probably going to do is get back into life skilling just so I can get the Caphras. Like, I'm going to go gather some trees for some Caphras. And just do that like once a day, and then do that and field bosses, and I think that'll be more than enough Caphras for me.
You love field bosses. There you go.
Field bosses is pretty
Blond
good.
Bear, you have your strategy laid out all the way to Tet?
Yep. Yeah, so I'm gonna slap pry and do. I got a bunch of stacks just sitting around. Like they're optimal levels. I have a 180-ish or 190 stack for try. I'm gonna cron it. I've already got a ton of outfits saved up, and then if I get try, I'm gonna do 30,000 quests to get the 300 pass stack for Tet. I thought about doing like 300 for like a Pendaborica or some other pen accessory, but honestly, like getting Tet Dead God out of the way as fast as possible is kind of my main goal because I don't really care too much about AP. I'm gonna be at 305 when Odalita launches, so I don't really. Like more AP's nice, but I feel like I'm at the pinnacle of my grind speed. Like I can't get any better unless they buff my class. Because I'm like
Don't get me fucking started. Don't
like,
get me fucking started.
But yeah, I want to go for 300 fail stack from the 30,000. So I'll do that once I hit try. If I don't hit try with all the crons I have, I'll just keep grinding until I get it. Once I get it, I'll do 30,000 quests.
How many quests do you have so far?
Like 8,000 or something. But I'm pretty determined. I love questing, so I really don't mind. I haven't really done any of the main story on any of my alts. Ghost Rex tells me every day, you're not going to do it. I'm like, you'll see. I'm pretty determined.
I mean, it's not that bad. I'm 11,000 quest right now, and I haven't tried yet. So, it's not bad.
I've already made enough money in the game. I'm like full pen, full C9 plus. Like, I love grinding this game, but, maybe a break is kind of what...
Listen, we grinded 65, all right? Nothing compares, all right? It's easy.
That's true.
I was re-listening to Biohack's conversation that we had, and we were doing the podcast, he was talking about Rupali, and having that +4 and how insane he's going to be, and I'm like, a couple extra fail stacks, and the fuck does that matter?
It's going to be huge.
And then I started thinking about it as I'm re-listening to it, and I'm going, "Oh my god, he's right." And can I want to do a Biohack impression. He's like, once I get my 3,000 or my 30,000 quests, I'm gonna be insane. I was re-listening to it. I'm like playing with my volume in my car. I'm like, Jesus Christ! It has nothing to do with how interested he is in what he's saying. He just like remembers that there's a microphone there, and it's like a fly to a fly trap or something. He's just like, yeah, well, I used to play BDO, but then I really got into it.
Just making sure the point is in and through.
He's not like emphasizing anything. It just happens.
He's paying attention to too many things at once.
Probably. It's a Python script for his status. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, Odalita, no R in it. October 7th. Potion Shop and Blond Bear are going to be grinding it out against Moreland TV and Tim Allen. Loser joins Aftershock. Or winner start. I don't care. Somebody brought up Aftershock, so now I can't stop talking about it.
To start Aftershock, I might blow up some of my gear this weekend.
I might go for Ted again. So Armor of the Dead God, Odalita, Garmoth's Heart. You guys got your second Garmoth's. Oh wow, that's like I'm potion shopping this word. Garmoth's Heart. I'm sorry, buddy.
It's okay. I mean, it's true.
I don't have mine.
I don't have mine either.
When you only go out and talk once a week on the podcast, you start forgetting words. It's a problem I have.
I've had mine for a while.
They're so expensive.
Ready to go. Just get it a drop.
Do I really want to pay 9 bill for 3% crit damage?
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You get two. Is that the crystals you're talking about? The 3% crit damage?
Oh, doesn't it have 3 crit damage on the reform, and then you get the 2 crystals on top of that?
I think so. I think that's correct.
It's probably worth it. I don't know. I'm just so salty that they made us get a second Garmoth. Like, really, you couldn't add a new boss.
True. They doubled the drop rate for it, though.
I don't know. All the bosses they've added are dog shit.
Yeah, they're very thoughtful of us. They double drop rate for Garmoth art, and then forgot to add the Odalita part of the game that went along with it. I don't know. I'm planning on getting it next. That's my next goal. I currently have, I think, like 1.5 bill. That I've just kind of been saving up, just grinding for this potion piece. And whenever I get around to having enough money for the Garmoth art, I'll put Peruter on it. I think it might go down too. There's a way you can acquire Garmoth art in Odalita for. It's like 4.5 bill. Is that right? I think it's about 4.5 bill.
By the end of it, you're going to pay basically what a Garmoth art currently is, so there's no point. The only reason that KR had the questline introduced, just like 90% of the things they introduced, is because they have nothing in the market. They introduced Black Star armor, so you don't have to buy Caphras because there's no Caphras in the market. They introduced a Garmoth questline because there's no Garmoths in the market because people aren't.
Such a roundabout way of fixing problems.
It is, isn't it? It's actually insane.
Quest for Garmoth.
What'd you say, Marlon?
I was looking at the quest for Garmoth. It didn't seem that bad. I'm trying to figure out how people are valuing it at like 9 bill or whatever. It seems like it was quite a bit cheaper than that.
So there's the materials you got to buy for it, and then there is a fee you got to pay at the end of it. You got to pay for like an item from a vendor that's like 4 bill or something. So that's what doubles the price.
Yeah, the materials, what people were telling me, were like 4.5. So it makes sense that there's an extra fee at the end.
There's an extra fee for like 4-ish billion silver that you got to buy to finish the quest line.
I don't know. I'm having a weird time trying to figure out how to get my gear together when I can't even get my fucking Black Star to Tet. 58 attempts. I told you that, right? 58 Tet attempts. No successes.
Crazy.
I thought you were talking about try attempts. I was watching your stream the other day. And he's like, oh, he must be talking about try. There's no way it's Tet.
Tets.
I don't know. This looks pretty cheap compared to the market price. I think it might cost 6 to 7, but I don't think it's going to cost 9. The thing is, one of the steps is a bunch of Nuver scales, so that's a yikes.
It's going to take literally months to do. I don't know why they. I don't know.
Isn't like how many Nuver scales do you need?
300 or something like that.
400.
You get 3. You get 3 or 4 per time or something. How many you get per time?
Fuck,
you get not enough. Yeah, you get not enough.
Have fun.
Yikes.
For the grind for a week and get it, just buy it. Why wait months when you could just buy it? But that's the thing. The KR market's sold out, so that's why they have to create quests to make items.
Yeah.
Instead of just maybe adjusting the drop rate or something like that.
Yeah, so that's required to make the Garmoth heart, huh? Is to kill Nuver. I mean, it makes sense though. To get a dragon's heart, you got to kill another dragon.
Yeah.
Does it make sense though?
No.
Have you guys seen, since we're talking about Odalita grinding, have you guys seen the new costume, the Black Spear costume that drops into the new spots?
I don't think it's a solution to the problem of making the grind spots better. It does look pretty cool, and to have a nice little like cutout for the female version so you can see her tits.
I don't know why they put that there.
I thought you'd liked women's hands and feet.
I would like all women equally.
Wow, I really don't know where to go from there. The costume, yeah. So apparently, it's relatively, it's not as hard to obtain as the other one, as the integral. So that's nice. That'll be a fun little grind.
I wonder, do we know how long it roughly takes to get the new costume?
Well, I saw some KR streamer with it already, so probably not too long. But then again, they've had Odalita for a bit.
Yeah, they've had it for a couple months.
But
you kind of dance back and forth, Potion, on if PvE's inflated or need to make it good again. Why'd you say you need to make it good again? Like interesting? Is that what you meant?
All the grind spots in Odalita, from what I hear, other than maybe the 271, are just not really worth the silver per hour. So if you're looking for silver per hour, you're still going to be going to Starzin or Sakraya. That's what I've heard. And you know they did add the new ring recently to the 250 AP grind spot, but I don't think it's enough from the rumors I've been hearing to actually make it worth it. But we'll have to see when it comes out, right? And that's why the problem is that I went there on a test server with 300 AP, and they're tanky. Like they're super hard to kill. They're like as tanky as Sakraya or maybe even more, which just feels really odd for a 250 AP grind spot. So,
do you grind someplace because it's the best, or just because it feels good?
I grind there for either EXP or for money, and in my case, most of the time it's a little bit of, I like a hybrid. So I like Sakraya a lot because it's a good hybrid between EXP and money. Like I don't like Hystria because it's terrible EXP. I've probably grinded less than 100 hours in history total.
Mm.
But I don't know.
So you wanted to take us on a little bit of a journey today with a kind of a generalistic BDO question, right, Potion Shop?
Yeah, what is the current state of BDO? Like, this is talking about like PvE grind spots, class balance in PvE, PvP systems, as well as how the combat feels. Just kind of an overview of life skilling and all the stuff that's included in the game. And I want to get you guys' opinions on what you do and don't like. What's the current state of the game?
I think personally, the only thing that I think would be nice with a revamp is like purposeful open world PvP. Currently, all it stands to be is guild war scores, if you even care about that. And I don't know, it's like uneventful, unrewarding, pointless even. But like for a new player, it's great, right? A new player that hops in the game, they're learning the combat, they're having fun with all the abilities, gaming on people, super fun. But for a person that's done that for 4 years, I can't imagine that that's still enjoyable to any extent. The only thing you probably get joy out of is griefing people, which is like the only probably fun you can get out of PvP these days.
I hate to tell you, Blond Bear, the new player experience in this game is dog shit.
Well, see, I know that you guys said that, but I actually think it's the opposite. Now, this is also like helping hand like new players into the game, but I know that you guys made your new accounts and you tried it out and you didn't like it, and I can totally see from your perspective like that. But I think that because we've played the game before, we can see all the crappy parts about it. Some kid who's brand new to the game, this is baby's first MMO, everything's going to be glossed over. Everything's got gloss on it. Everything that's bad isn't really bad. It's just something different or new. They have no idea, about efficiency or anything like that. I think that I agree with you from our perspective, but I think from a new player's perspective, everybody has a lot of fun. Now, this is also for new players with a helping hand into the game. I don't know what a new player experience with no help at all, someone that doesn't have a friend getting them into the game or anything. I don't know what that's like, because I have yet to see it, right? I try to help everybody that's
trying to poke at, right? If you stumble across this game, it's weird.
I think for the new player experience, they solved a really, really crucial problem. And it's not how I will solved it, but I think the gearing problem has more or less been solved for new players. You get a new season, it entices you to come and play the game if you're new, and you get all the gear that you need to feel like you're relevant in the game, and that means a lot to new players. And I feel like that now that experience is solved and not perfect, but at least manageable, I feel like they can move on to other parts now and actually, like balance PvE classes and stuff like that. So I feel like the new player experience is, although not perfect, I do feel like it's better than it has been in a very long time.
It's interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
They need a Ovia, but not returning. Yeah, they just need Ovia season servers.
I mean, like, Olvia shouldn't exist. Season should just be the only thing for any returning or new player. It should basically be a merge, right? Like, anybody or just turn, Olvia into seasons and get rid of seasons. I mean, like, vice versa works, right? I completely agree.
So state of the game. Who wants to start?
I have a lot to say.
I think everything's kind of all right. From my perspective, I guess, right? Like, I could literally hop into any aspect of the game, do whatever I want because I enjoy it. The game with seasons, even if you're a returning player who played when the game first came out, hop in, do some quests, enhance some free gear, hit soft cap, and start your either grind to end game gear or maybe your life skill journey. I think that the seasons does a pretty bad job of like not really introducing life skills to anybody. So they're like, hey, here's some gear, go grind, go PvP, and then they don't teach you about life skills or anything else. Like, the thing that like some games like World of Warcraft do is like they literally hold your hand, they highlight things on your screen, they literally baby you all the way till you're max, and even then it still babies you. Whereas like BDO doesn't have a highlighting experience. It's not like, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this. Like, it's just kind of like, hey, you're in the game. All right, just
is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is that good or bad?
I don't know, right? Like, too much of a helping hand is rough, right? Like, you don't want to be manhandled while playing your game, but at the same time, players that need that helping experience because they're new and they just don't know and they've never played an MMO before. Like, that's why, like, I think that like MMOs, like, I mean, this game needs to be built around a friend bringing you in. If you don't have a friend bringing you in, this has got to be one of the most worst ways to digest a game ever, because it is not, like you said, Tim, it's not new player friendly in the sense that, like, did you know that you could right click your pets to make all of them go fast or slow at the same time? Like, what if you just never right click the freaking button? You know what I mean? Like, there's no tutorial that tells you that. Like, you could read the wiki all you want, but like, that's not going to teach you like a player's information. It's not going to help you in like a friendly player way. Like, oh, hey, did you know that, X, Y, Z? Like, it doesn't tell you any of that information. Half the people that I talk to in my streams that don't know anything about ecology. What's ecology? Wait, you're saying I got to kill monsters? They give me a knowledge level? I just thought that was just a thing in the game for like some book reading stuff. No, it actually increases your RNG. Wait, so I've been missing an RNG buff this whole time? What, I can invest my energy into like, it doesn't tell you about any of this. And then if you like try to look it up, like, so much stuff is vague because they try to keep everything a mystery in this game. So it's weird. But I think that, like, from my personal experience, I think that like a majority of the game's fine. I just feel like open world PvP has no place other than feeling like if you want to grief somebody. But there's millions of guides out there. Like, the interconnectivity between like the communities and stuff is like, that's what we do to fill the gaps. Just like add-ons fill the gaps in World of Warcraft with their content, like creating, deadly boss mods or any of the DPS meters or mechanic-based things in like the add-ons folder of WoW. I think that the community and like the tutorials and everything is what brings BDO's people together, I think. So.
Yep.
Yeah. That's an interesting take. I don't agree with nearly any of that.
Well, I wanted to start training horses AFK because I knew the T10's coming up. So I YouTube a video. Hey, Kerr's got a video on training horses. Hey, 8 minutes and I know exactly what I need to do. Like, it's as simple as that, right? But, maybe for new players, they don't know what to search or how to search. I could see how it could be a little not user-friendly, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you're looking up specifically.
You're going to train all your own horses to get a T10?
No, I'm just doing it for the seals. Unfortunately, I didn't know that the seals aren't going to backpedal into the new system. Yeah. So I'm kind of just leveling my training because I don't do any life skills ever. And it's kind of nice money on the side for now.
I think right now the thing I'm happy with is the fact that they're balancing PvE, classes and PvE, so Awakenings and Successions. I've been talking about it for a while, and I'm really happy that they're starting to do that. Like, I feel like with that, people can choose the class they want to choose, and there's very few classes that people can choose, and they feel like they made a mistake right now. There's like Maywa Awakening, maybe, and like Tamer Awakening in Succession, and maybe Valkyrie Awakening. I don't know. There's not very many, right? There's just a handful, and I feel like that makes the game a lot more enjoyable for new players, where they feel like you don't get like 61 and figure like, oh, my class is garbage. I need to reroll now, and I like that people don't get that feeling. I think the thing I'm least happy with is either the state of PvP or life skilling. Both of them are pretty equally bad right now.
Why is life skilling in a bad spot?
So when you ever like
cheap boxes.
Well, the main thing is like you can't do what you want to do in life skilling all day long anymore. So if you want to do gathering, you run out of energy. If you do cooking, you run out of materials or you run out of cooking utensils. If you want to do, every single thing just about has a limitation on it now. Like if you want to do bartering, then you run out of parlay or you run out of refreshes. Everything has like a limitation on it where you can't do it all day. And I really miss the ability to just, people used to specialize in, I am a cook and I make the most money in cooking. I like doing cooking because I work all day and I do cooking while I work. And there's nobody you can't really specialize in one life skill now and do that anymore. And I miss that a lot. Nowadays, you have to pair like gathering with hunting or gathering with bartering or do cooking and hunting. And you have to like do multiple, you have to like splice multiple life skills together in order to fill out your entire 10-hour weekend day, where previously that wasn't a thing. And I miss that a lot. That's the main thing I dislike about that.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I think maybe for people who are literally trying to do one thing for 10 hours, that's a problem. But for the most part, you can gather quite a bit. You can barter quite a bit. You can do all these things. Like cooking just comes down to how you're preparing and what recipes you're going for, right? Like there's a lot of ways you can stretch those things out. I don't necessarily know that the problem with life skilling is that you can't do the same thing for too long. I actually kind of think it's the opposite. I think there's not enough variety. Half the life skills in the game right now are utterly pointless. And that didn't used to be the case. I think that if more life skills were intriguing, then you wouldn't care that you couldn't gather for 10 hours, because there'd be such a variety of other things you could weave together with, we used to do 7-8 life skills in a single day back. I had my workshops that were connected to my processing, which was connected to my gathering. And then, it was connected to my alchemy. There were so many different things that felt like I couldn't even keep up. And now it's like, well, there's one gathering rotation that kind of shits on everything else. So I guess I'll do that till I run out of energy. And then, I'll cook if I am kind of like feeling bored and I want to watch a stream on my other monitor and just chill or whatever. But otherwise, I'll probably just grind. There's just such a low amount of stuff to actually do in the game that matters. I think that's kind of the problem with life skilling at the moment.
Well, I guess let me peel it back a little bit. Why is that, right? And my argument would be is because of energy. Because if you had the energy you wanted, you could do deer blood, and that'd be a really good profit. Or you could do deer meat, or wolf meat, or goat meat, or lion meat, and make King of Draenor Hamburg. Or you could
having more energy is not going to change which gathering spots are viable, though, and it's not going to make alchemy good. It's not going to make horse training good, or fishing good, or any of these other dead life skills. So, you know what I mean? It's
look at the meat market right now. The meat market. Every single meat is sold out. There's maybe one you could find an exception for, but every single meat is sold out, and that's because it's not worth your time to do that compared to gathering wood, is because it costs more energy. It's more or less the same profit. It's actually extremely similar profit. You're looking at about 200 mil an hour with a better setup, up to 250 mil an hour. It's actually really good money, but the only thing that's different between it and gathering trees, other than the materials themselves, is that you spend energy faster. So fixing energy would not be a solve-all, but it would at least make it where you would have quadruple the number of options for gathering.
I mean, I think a lot of that is the problem is market caps as well. I don't know why meat and logs and rough stone are capped the way they are. The only reason that I can see, and it's the same with Kaffir stones, the reason why we have all these price caps is literally to artificially hold back life skills so that they don't become better than grinding. Those are the only reason that any of those limits exist.
Yep.
Yeah,
because then they'd have to increase the money we make from grinding, and then that would increase the price. I mean, everything would kind of inflate, but the thing is they would naturalize to their appropriate prices. I think that then anybody would see that anybody with a brain that life skills will make way more money than grinding.
Yeah, because what would happen is you'd make more money, and then everybody would just start doing life skills, and then it would just deflate, and then you'd be like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. And everything would normalize out.
Yeah, so. I guess it just depends on your perspective, right?
Yeah. The thing was, before they removed high quality wine, I was able to do butchering all day long. I could gather blood all day long, or I could gather trees or gather sap. All those are viable options. And now the only viable option is gathering trees and doing hunting. That's it.
I still make pretty good money gathering meat, dude.
It's 1/10 of the problem, though. I mean, and fixing energy and fixing the market prices, we're basically just talking about different varieties of gathering still. We're not doing anything to fix trading or horse training or fishing. These are all parts of the game that once upon a time had their own subcultures practically. The fishing Discord used to be one of the most active Discords in the entire BDO community. It was insane. People were figuring out every bit of nuance of what's the difference between a rare fish and a big fish, and Calfian rod and Medea rod. And there was this entire subgenre of BDO around fishing. And now it's a complete and utter fucking waste of time, no matter how good at it or smart at it you are. It's just completely neglected, and there's a huge portion of the game that's falling to that neglect. It feels like we're just in kind of this weird maintenance mode where there's nothing inspiring about what's coming into BDO. It's just more of the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So where I'm at with the whole thing is I really miss organized PvP. The new RBF map was terrible. It was terrible. I was playing it last night and just having a bad time. I think I may have upset somebody that was in there, but dude, it's just I miss Siege so much. But what it was when there was 16 Balanos and Serendia guilds, and we didn't know half of them, or they were in and out, and there was 6 ones that held it down, and then there was the castle rotation and the wars and the drama. And I remember BDO being substantially less toxic back then too. I feel like we're just the old battle axes that are just looking for a reason to kill each other's guilds and stuff, and it just it's so taxing and it's not rewarding. Winning a castle isn't rewarding, especially now that I don't pay attention anymore because there's nothing to pay attention to, but I don't remember the last time that there was an actual fight for a territory that wasn't either a massive Zerg or, we know who's going to win at the end of it. So that's, Potion talked about earlier that he's having a existential crisis on what to do with his stream or, how to play BDO and stuff like that. I've been there for months, man. Ever since Aftershock, I just let it go. I was just like, and T1 Node Wars was a really cool kind of stopgap, but I think between the focus that they have on seasons, how bad the organized PvP is right now, how wonky the marketplace is for life skilling, and it is a little wonky, but I have 100 pots of energy from my alts and 100 pearl pots because I bought the $2 thing for a week for a couple months. I'm pretty disenchanted with the game overall, but grinding with friends and getting some enhancing and stuff like that, there's still some high spots of the game. But I think overall, this is the worst version of BDO. The only worst version of BDO that's ever existed is the one that console players are currently playing.
Yeah,
true.
They're getting. They still don't have Caphras, and they're getting. What are they getting? They're getting something weird, like tomorrow or next week or something. But anyway,
well, the problem
it's in a bad spot, and they keep. They're taking in all this information. And I know Moreland said they're probably taking in too much information, and kind of leaving behind the vision for the game. But I can't believe that they're taking in all this information, specifically about organized PvP, and this is the best that they can do.
I actually don't think it's the best they can do. I just think they've they're not trying. I 100% think that if they were actually genuinely trying, we could get some quality content. But I just think that
they're not trying. Why would they not try? I mean, they're one of the biggest, richest gaming companies in the world now.
Why wouldn't they? Why would they release a flat circle map that's got 3 spawns on each side when this game is literally you can throw any projectile and kill anybody you want if you're the most OP class? I
think it's incompetence. I don't think it's laziness.
I think it's incompetence. I don't think that they're lazy. I think that they're bad at their jobs.
If they're lazy enough to not figure out what the player base could or would want, that's lazy to me. If the incompetence is them not spending the time or effort to play the game or understand the player base, that's laziness to me. I mean, it's the same word in some way, shape, or form, but I think they're lazy to figure out what the player base is at this point. I think that they're making the game what they want it to be when the play. I mean, it's the WoW syndrome right now. You're just not playing the game the way we intend for it to be played. It's I don't know. I feel like they're really missing the mark on purpose because they just don't care. Because they got 3 other MMOs they're making right now, and they make billions of dollars regardless if they release a new RBF map or not. Because we're not the ones buying the costumes. It's some
man. If I want to map, I should be able to map. You know what I mean? I don't care how they want me to play. I want to go do mapping.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying. I do think they're trying. If you look at, I just don't think they have enough manpower because they split their focus as a company on 3 different MMOs, 4 including BDO, and 5 you include mobile, right?
So, man, they have so many employees now. There's more people working on BDO than there's ever been. The idea that they're not trying.
I don't know where you're getting that from, though. You can say that it's true they have had more employees in Probus than they've ever had, but who says they're working on BDO?
Talks with the people who work there.
He went to Korea, remember?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't see that. All I see is them working on if they have more employees than they ever have, they're pushing out less content than they ever have.
Yeah, no, we don't see it. I mean, I've been saying that for months. It's staggering to me how much effort goes into this game and how little results come out of it. But I think to say that they're not trying, I mean, I guess at some point it doesn't matter. Either way, they're failing. But the failure is not because of lack of trying, man. They're fucking pumping resources into this game. They just don't know what they're doing, and they have a lack of leadership and a lack of vision. It's not a lack of effort. They're trying, they're just fucking it up.
Okay, I can see it that way.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Which is almost worse in some. I'm not trying to defend him, right?
No, it literally is worse than what we have now.
If you look originally, they were pumping out about 7 grind spots a year and 2 updates. They did Commonwealth 1 and Commonwealth 2 in a year, Valencia 1 and Valencia 2 in a year, and then after that, it just went, and I don't know what happened. Like I don't know what happened, and that's roughly the time they started working on new games. We know from the time stretch, looking at how long development takes on a game. That's roughly when it started.
We've had about the same drip since Valencia. That we get expansions every 8 to 10 months. We get a new class every 6 months. Like as far as those major things.
I mean, think about Dragon though. When was Dragon? Like when was Dragon?
2018.
Yeah, that was the last major update.
Over a year and a half.
2019.
It's not. We're not getting them every 8 months. Like it's like Odalito was announced in 2018, November 2018. With Stars In. They released Stars In, and they gave us also Sakraya and Prody Cave. And those are the last things we've had in a long time. And that's 3 grind spots. So right now they're averaging 3 new grind spots a year, roughly is what they're averaging, about 3.
A lot of this stuff doesn't matter to me though, because it seems that the more that they progress with classes and grind spots and areas and stuff like that, the further they get away from, in Jahi's words, the magic of original BDO. They're moving in the wrong direction. So I was thinking the other day, like how cool would it be if they just got rid of all the classes from Striker After, and we just had to play like the original classes, you know?
I have a completely different idea
or something. Just get back to what it used to be.
I got it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. That's what I mean by like maintenance mode. More regions and more grind spots doesn't bring back the magic of BDO. More regions and grind spots, in some ways, I think, kind of extinguished the magic of BDO. Right. It's what we need in the game is more variety and more creativity, not like a 15th grind spot to go to. Give me a reason to do something other than grinding. Let's go that direction.
Real quick question. I think they're pushing this game more towards theme park and much more away from sandbox, and I think that might be what we're all kind of struggling with.
They're trying to copy World of Warcraft. They look at what's more successful than BDO, and they say what is making it more successful, and they say, well, it must be theme park or fill in the blank. And
Ocean, you forgot Papacornia, dude. That was a major new region that we got. You have to give them credit. That they must have spent thousands of man hours developing Papacornia. I can't imagine how many.
What the fuck is that?
Millions of dollars. That place is worth. Yeah, no.
What is that?
Papacornia. A lot of resources went into that place.
It's the sea monsters versus the dwarves, whatever.
The island shit. I've never gone there.
Otter, do drugs, have a spiritual journey with the other otters, and then pick up like a seashell and hit other otters with it.
Yeah, I've never gone there. Is it good?
Maybe you could queue for it.
It's the worst thing I've ever experienced in gaming.
Okay, wow. I guess that's why I didn't go there. Okay.
you played Darkfall.
I'm going to say this. You guys can quote me on this. Papacornia is less fun than the original launch of Bless Online.
Holy fuck.
That's pretty bad.
Jesus Christ. Take it easy, Moreland.
I'm just... It's so frustrating cause that's a perfect example of how they have the resources. Imagine if they spent all the time on Papacornia developing something that was like cool or fun instead. Like we could have a whole sub part of the game that like was not that.
I kept saying for the longest time that I kept thinking for the longest time that Shadow Arena should have been the next Node Wars. That's what it should have been. It should have been at scheduled times, and it should have been the next Node Wars. You'd have Shadow Arena of Medea, the Shadow Arena of Caltheon, the Shadow Arena of whatever, and that'd be the next
Shadow Arena is another perfect example of how pumping more resources and money and devs into something doesn't make it better. I mean, the original team that made Shadow Arena, I guarantee you, is less than half the size of the current team that's working on it. And what does it have, like 800 players on Steam or something? Last I checked, like
it has like 100 and something, bro. It
actually blows my mind.
I have more viewers right now than it has players.
It blows my mind that they didn't make a cap in it, like a daily cap for the rewards, and instead thought the solution was to make it its own game because it was popular because of the in-game currency you're getting, not because of the actual experience. Even though
I think it was popular for both. I think it was genuinely fucking fun. I really enjoyed Shadow Arena and BDO.
100%. But more players that wouldn't have played it either way played it for the currency, right? And if they were capped,
it was carrot and stick for sure. Like on top of everything else, it's more fun when you get rewarded.
Oh, of course. It makes me wonder if like, they get weird about gear disparity and people don't even want to like do fights like nodes and sieges in some way, shape, or form because of like the way it's designed. But like, I'm curious I wonder if like if we had like a GVG system like world versus world, like they did in Guild Wars 2, if that would almost be more fun for players to just queue into and take over like an area or like an objective or something like that. I don't know if that would be a thing if people care more about gear disparity or if people care more about the ease of access into something, like just being able to queue it from a menu. But
so I have to interject since it was brought up. 30-day average of Shadow Arena, 130 players. Current players, 89. Star Wars Galaxy's pre-combat server, private server, 710. And that's accounts, not characters. You can have multiple characters on and all that. I'll talk about that later, but yeah, it needs
Last
more
Oasis has more players than Shadow Arena.
Read one of the Shadow Arena dev notes lately.
I stopped following the game months ago. What's the point? Like, it's funny because the Shadow Arena, they're almost doing the same thing they're doing in BDO. I see on their Twitter like a new class coming out every few weeks, and I'm like, oh, that'll fix it. Just keep adding new classes to a game with 80 players.
I don't understand why Pro Bliss hasn't been like, yo, like you're bleeding money right now. What is going on? Like, let's cut.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure that behind the scenes, it's not looking good. I mean, they did that huge marketing push a couple months ago where they basically hired every BDO streamer in the directory to go play Shadow Arena, and it didn't move the needle at all.
It's weird. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'll be real short. Then you can go. The fix for it is simple. The very first fix is fix the networking stuff and make it where it's not laggy. If you can do that, then people will start playing it again. I mean, you'd have to do a marketing push with that, but that'd be a start.
It's too late for that. If they had done that 6 months ago, maybe when the game had 1,500 players, then maybe it could have picked up some steam in early access. But it's way too late for that now. The only way that they could save Shadow Arena now is literally by putting it back into BDO. Which I think that they, just because of the investment they put into the standalone and because of their ego, I don't think there's ever any chance that that'll happen.
It's weird that, like, not that I think the player is almost ever right in any circumstance, because players never know what they want, because they'll optimize the fun out of everything. But it's kind of weird that, like, I feel like players just aren't consulted about, like, games. Again, and not that we have the ultimate opinion, but it just feels like, I don't know, they go for their own personal aim and not really the player aim, and we end up finding none of it's fun. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, maybe they're asking a different player base. I just feel like maybe it's
from a developer standpoint. I'm sure it was pretty straightforward, right? They were like, "Hey, I've made games before. We made Shadow Arena. Look at how many players played Shadow Arena on this piece of paper." And they're like, "Look, 33% of the BDO player base played Shadow Arena. This could be huge." And then they're like, "Oh man, let's make this into a great game." And then they get the same guy and the same team that was working on it, push them over, get a few more people on it, optimize it, polish it, and then they're like, "Why doesn't this work? I don't get it." And it's, that could have been solved super easy by doing some human relation test, by pulling people off the street, getting them signed an NDA, play our game. Hey, what do you think? It was laggy. I hated it. And they would have been like, "Oh, okay." They
did get that feedback. I think when it comes to lag and desync, they are just actually not capable of fixing it. They've gotten so much feedback in regards to that, and I even had people who worked at Pearl Abyss basically say we're doing this big push to try to convince the devs that desync is a problem. Can you give me your thoughts, and can you compile other people's thoughts? You probably saw the same thing, Tim. And so I sent him a bunch of clips of streamers talking about it and messages from Discord. I compiled a whole bunch of stuff about people saying Shadow Arena is a desyncy mess. It's not fun. You can't have a battle royale with that much desync. It doesn't fucking work. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I just don't think they can fix it. If they could, BDO would be fixed too. We've been saying the same things about BDO, but BDO has so many other things going for it besides the combat, that when you do desync in BDO, it's like, okay, whatever, I died, I resurrect, I go back. It's not you don't feel it as much. Sure. BDO players are very forgiving when it comes to desync. A lot of people, for some reason, refuse to admit how unacceptably awful it actually is in this game, because they just kind of brush it off and respawn. But I don't think they can fix it. I don't think they have the I don't know, the expertise.
I will say for sure if Shadow Arena if it's not fixed in Shadow Arena, like that's a problem. That's the make it break it. That's the selling point of that game. If they can fix the desync in BDO in Crimson Desert or whatever they're calling it, I'll be like, okay, I'll give it a try. Like that sounds good if you figured out how to fix that, you know?
It's still too late.
Yeah. It's frustrating to,
Yeah.
be in the situation where you just can't help.
What
Like, unfortunately, no matter how much feedback we give, I feel like the veterans will never be able to.
That's why I left the BDO partner program. Is I had this. I don't know if you saw it in the Discord, but I had this fucking huge blowout after just another miserable siege, just getting fucked back and forth between mercs, and then I added Imre and I added lead GM Rotaz, and I'm just like, you guys are either fucking. You have to be incompetent. You're either stupid or you're incompetent, and I'm fucking tired of wasting my time by even being in this program. It's dog shit. You're dog shit. You're not doing your job, right? So I did that whole thing and left, but
yeah,
it's frustrating to not feel like your feedback is going anywhere or doing anything or even going to help improve. It almost gets to the point where it's like, games are meant to be about fun, and you log in and you have fun for a few hours and you log out. But you get into this mode where you're just kind of wanting to progress and work on things, but you're not really having fun anymore because the systems aren't really well made. And
that's what I was doing when I left. I was like, maybe if I just get my head out of this space where I don't have the ability to message somebody who has, or at least pretends to have them on the game. And it worked for a little while. And then I just go, and we literally have the answers. The community, at least the streamers that get up here, we're talking to people, we have conversations, we even talk amongst ourselves. We have the fucking answers, especially when it comes to Siege Node Wars and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of, we're not trying to make these big. A bad idea is getting rid of Medaya and having Calpheon versus Valencia, giving everybody 15,000 or 150,000 HP and permanent death. I don't think anybody in this directory could possibly come up with a worse idea if they fucking tried. Okay. And so we're just going, hey, maybe we just buff DR. That's literally what we want to do for time to kill. And they're going, what if we get rid of everything? It's like, shut the fuck up and just listen.
The answers aren't that hard. They're not.
It's like 3 words. Do we want to talk about other games? We got more BDO stuff we want to rant about.
What else do we want to talk about for the state of the game before we move on?
What do you got?
Whatever happened with the costume task force? Weren't we supposed to get a new costume?
No, they're still pumping out new costumes. They're not every week like they said they were going to be, but they are.
Are they once a month?
I think it's every other week or something like that. They pop up pretty consistently.
The task force main job is to decide which costume this week is 20% off. We misunderstood. Not a new one. It's which one's discounted. I literally think that's what they meant.
No, I think there's been.
Do you guys feel like costumes are coming out faster than they were prior to the task force?
Yeah,
no.
I wish that they would label at the top when they did something. They're like, this was the costume task force.
It's always the thing at the bottom they put.
Is the very last thing is the costume.
The first thing I want to see is whatever this task force is working on. And I think I don't know. I haven't paid too much attention, but I think every single one has been a female outfit so far. I want some big, bulky armor suit, dude. Jungle Beast is my favorite thing on Berserker, and nothing compares to that thing. Everything else is
Puff Mini Berserker. Puff Mini Berserker win.
Yes, right? That's what I'm saying.
Berserkers always want to talk about how they need buffs and stuff, but really the only thing missing from that class is Puff Mini.
Better costume. Yep. I hear you.
I'm trying to picture that in my head right now.
Yeah, do you need to turn your camera off for a second?
Yeah, just 1 second. I'll be right back.
But yeah, I've always wondered what I know that some of the big things they say about this game is players with gear disparity get discouraged if their value of their gear isn't worth anything. I feel like at this stage of the game that's not really a thing anymore. I feel like the thing I want right now is I think that seasonal PvP was probably some of the most fun PvP that I've ever participated in at all.
It's balanced.
Other than sitting on a wall and destroying people down in Siege. But I think that creating maybe a world versus world like Guild Wars with a bunch of auto signed in gear and stuff. You pick a class and you pick Awakening or Succession, just go in and fight. I feel like that would almost be more fun than some of the current systems. Maybe just something entirely
The gear has to matter, though. The gear has to matter somehow. Otherwise, there's no point to grind.
I mean, yes and no. If everything's based around the new player experience, new players don't have any gear, so the gear disparity doesn't matter, right? Everything is based around cash shopping new players, getting new players into stuff, discounting everything for new players. Those are their main targets, other than whales. And whales, I don't think would care about any of that because they don't PvP anyways. They just sit there and either grind. I mean, like, what did O'Deer do? He grinded all day, every day for the Borka necklaces until he clicked it. Like, and that was one of the biggest.
Until he got banned.
So what I'm saying is, like, I don't think that people actually care as much about gear as they really do. I think gear discourages more people from getting into PvP than anything else, right? Like people don't. How many guilds siege on a castle? It was a 1v1 in Valencia the other week. It was a handoff the other week for the other guild. Like, it's just like nobody participates because it's not worth the effort at the time or anything. But
new players don't know that yet, though. New players get into the game thinking with the mindset. I get this question 100 times a day in chat. How long is it going to take me to catch up? And I'm always kind of like, I have to explain to them, well, like, catch up with what? You know, like, what do you actually? Because the end game PvP in BDO isn't even fun. Like, the most fun we had until they ruined this as well was T1s. And so I would tell people, you could do T1s after a month or two. Like, realistically, it's not that hard. So I think if they just, I mean, I've said this a million times before, I think the solution to PvP is so simple. Add a few ranked battlegrounds that are actually fun, get rid of RBF and add like some WoW style battlegrounds. And then, you know, when it comes to nodes or siege or whatever, just have like 2 or 3 different brackets, have gear squish for the middle bracket, have a gear cap for the low bracket, have the high tier sieges be uncapped. And then people can kind of just PvP wherever they feel best. And they'll constantly have something that they're motivated towards to go to the higher tier so they can get more prestige or more rewards or whatever the case. Like, I don't think it's that hard to entice people into PvP in this game. You just have to make it somewhat meaningful and interesting. And I don't know why they can't do that. There's lots of other MMOs to look at and take examples from, and instead they just keep trying to reinvent the fucking wheel here. And it's like, let's try this completely new thing that no one's ever done before, and it's garbage and no one wants to do it. That's shocking.
Exactly. I don't know why they're not trying to emulate other experiences in other games that worked 100% through and through. It's weird. Like the current, I know that they keep building this card tower on an awful foundation of a game that they keep doing, and instead of fixing the original problem, they just kind of keep stacking it. We all know that they constantly build. Instead of changing the foundation, they build on top of that, and it just would be nice. Like as much as it's the same thing, it just would be nice to start from the bottom.
They keep on doing more and more horizontal progression they keep doing more vertical progression instead of horizontal. Like they need at this point we have a skyscraper of gear progression, right? You got to go through plus 15, then you got to go up to pin, then you get Capital 10, and then you go up to Armored Dead God, and the Armored Dead God. It's just like this. They keep building the tower higher and higher and higher. It's just like, I'm tired of that. Like, give me more options, right? Give me like I think the rings that they're coming out with Odalita, awesome. Love them because they're a new option, right? I can choose either an accuracy ring, an AP ring, or I can choose maybe like a cadre ring for a DP build. So I have options there, and I like that because it's I get a choice, more variety. At least for me, I like that.
Yeah.
Can't they just put me in charge already? I'll fix this whole game in 3 weeks, dude.
I hope so. I would like that.
Only if I can be the secondary idea manager. All right. Because I give you all the craziest ideas in the world, and you just never use any of them, right? But that's
you'll be in charge of coming up with new items.
Yes. All right, I'm in. Let's do
Potion's going to come out with a new necklace that has like 37 DR and like plus 80 mana and like who knows what else, minus 15 luck.
It's gonna be the most insane thing ever. You're gonna like it, guaranteed.
What can I be, Marlon?
Tim, you can be in charge of the chat filter.
But I like it. I think honestly though, like I feel like they're going in the correct direction, but they're just too slow. They're currently going like 10 miles per hour in the right direction. They need to go like 60.
Plus 10 against fighting Sausins.
More specifically sauce, not even human damage, just Saucin damage.
Sausins.
I do think that region particular like gear modifiers would be really cool. Like if you had you have Kama Sylvan damage. It only works against Kama Sylvan mobs, but do that for regions instead of just like a damage type.
I kind of hate it actually. I wish they would make Narcs monster damage instead of common damage. Give them a little bit more value.
Well, it makes you wonder, like, how would they do accessory progression other than just constantly releasing the best new accessory? And Potion and I have talked about this a long time. It's like I don't like the idea of them releasing new accessories that, like, if they release, like, I don't know, a volcano zone where all the grind spots are in a volcano or something, you got to have like lava damage accessories or something. Like, I as much as I would like for them to create new methods of progression, I feel like no one would be even incentivized because they just make money elsewhere.
It's like having to get resist gear in WoW. Nobody likes getting resist gear. It's fucking boring. You want to use your big dick main gear and, like, crit as hard as you can.
On paper, it looks good, but in reality, it's awful.
Like this is an example of something I think I'd like to see in the future. I'd like to see them do I'd like to make Forest Naris ring like basically like Narc, and then I'd like to see a distortion ring come out as well. So I'd like to see both. I think that'd be really interesting.
Be cool to have more items with drawbacks on them. I think that would be interesting.
I like the concept.
Minus 10 damage to Sausons.
Yeah, that'd be brutal. I don't know if anyone could give that up.
I don't know, man. I could never do that. Sausons forever.
Yeah, we know. Other games?
Sure.
Other games.
Yeah, WoW got delayed.
Yeah, I hope Odalita still comes out.
Odalita's not coming out this Wednesday, right?
I think Tuesday night they're gonna have some sort of critical.
There's gonna be a Twitter post, guys. Due to some unforeseen circumstance,
completely unforeseen. There's nothing we could do. It was our provider's fault.
We lost all the data. It's gone. We got to get it.
We have to start Odalita over again. It's gonna be a few months.
I actually messaged in the partner Discord about this. And they responded by doing a Twitter post saying, "Yep, it's definitely coming out. Are you excited for 4 days?" They actually did that because I asked them.
You just posted on Twitter. I thought that was the funniest thing. It was so funny. I was dying laughing when I saw it.
Of maybe like they were at a convention, like one of the WoW lead designers and like Jay-He or something, and like Jay-He bumped into the WoW lead designer. And like just to fuck with BDO, they've like expanded, they've extended this, and then they're just like delay when it's too late for them to pull it back. I know it's not true, but I'd really love that if that was like a.
I just feel like they sat down and they're like, "Hey, let's have a dinner with the WoW team." We're like, "Hey, can you tell us like how we can make our game better?" And they're like, "Oh man, we got the best thing for you. Add lots of dailies to it. Make sure just give them a whole laundry list of things that they could add to BDO." And they're like, "Oh, thank you so much. We didn't think you were actually going to answer any of our questions."
Yeah, so they're like, we want their whales.
I mean, beside though, I am glad it is delayed though, because having 2 games launch right around the same time with content.
If I was the business side of Blizzard and I heard that O'Deer got banned for RMTing, I would have sent him an email inviting him to play my game.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, there's too much good stuff coming out in the next couple months, honestly. So,
what's on your radar, Moreland?
Well, this was on our list, but the Doom DLC, I mean, I probably won't play it for more than a week, but that's going to be super fun. There's actually, I was going to say New World, but we have to take that off the list, don't we? Because they're doing another closed NDA fucking they're just terrified of people actually seeing what their game is.
Wait, they're doing it. It's not, it's NDA'd?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, they're saying it won't be another preview. It'll be another alpha test with an NDA. So
they changed the combat.
Oh, stop.
Maybe.
We don't
respect. I mean, I guess it's possible that they're doing some crazy overhaul, and that's why they want the NDA, because they're doing experimental stuff. But I just think it's ironic that they had this big spiel about like, oh, we're so overwhelmed with all the positive reception and all the people who streamed it and and now they're like, oh, NDA, by the way.
I was planning on streaming it. That's too bad.
It is too bad.
Are you going to get into the alpha, Moreland?
For New World?
Yeah.
No, I don't give a shit. If I can't stream it and I can't make videos about it, what do I care? I'll wait until they have something that's at least worth showing to the public. If they're going to do it under NDA, it's probably because they're scrapping some of the main systems and we're going to get a shitty half complete like version of the game anyways, which was already so incomplete in the preview. We're gonna get some 1/8 complete shit. It's like, no, I'll just skip it and wait for the next one.
Fuck with it for 5 hours and see how different it is.
Nah, it's just not worth it, man.
For me, I'll give you money.
I'll log in.
Okay, now we're talking. All right. Wait. Will you give me money or just Marlon?
I would absolutely never give you any more money than $4.99 a month.
Okay, well, I have to think about
Only
that.
if Twitch gets half of it. Gifted subs in your channel, but only I will give you money for Drunk Potion Shop. How about that?
Oh, we should do another one of those then.
We should do one together.
That should be
everything
fun.
else on my radar. A lot of people probably won't actually care about, but the next Fractured Alpha is coming up pretty soon. That's going to be fun to play. Again, we'll probably only play it for a few days or a week, but it'll be cool to see how that game's coming along. They're going to have some new large scale systems in terms of like city sieges and things like that. So being able to do a siege on Fractured and see where that's headed could be pretty fun. Mm-hmm. Project 99 is releasing Kunark pretty soon. I think that's in November. So that's going to be some sick nostalgia. One of the greatest expansions to an MMO that ever happened. Any boomers in chat remember Kunark?
Mm-mm.
Oh, so good.
Did I miss that? Really?
It's like the Burning Crusade of EverQuest. It was like when the game peaked.
Oh yeah. Okay. I needed the context for that.
Kunark represent. I don't know. Let's see. What's the other game that you said there? There was another one, wasn't there? You're still playing Hades?
Yeah, Hades is so goddamn good. The best 20 minutes I ever $20 I ever spent on a game. I can't believe how much content I've gotten out of Hades.
So how does it work for people who don't know?
So it's a roguelike. So you play through the game and you try to beat it. It's pretty hard to beat, like to get your first clear because you're still learning the weapons. You don't have a lot of the power-ups and stuff. Every time you play through the game is different. You interact with different Greek gods and they all give you different bonuses and there's a random element to it. So none of your playthroughs are going to be the same. The more you play it, you get these meta kind of power-ups to where you can sort of determine like which gods you're going to encounter and which weapons you can upgrade. So some of your progress starts to carry over from run to run, but there's a ton of different builds and a ton of different things that can happen. So each run feels really unique. And yeah, it's basically the game just rewards you for beating it over and over again. The story is tied to beating the game multiple times. So when you beat it once, you don't just go through the same story. I've beaten it like 30 or 40 times now, and I'm still unlocking the story. There's still more summons that I haven't found. There's like, I just barely got the last weapon upgrade after 30 clears or something. Like there's so much more stuff, both gameplay and story wise, that you continue to unlock. It's insane how much content they've been able to put out for such like a low cost game.
The best thing about roguelikes is like literally based on how the company creates like the progressional system, like you could literally get like 40 plus hours out of a game that's like dirt cheap compared to like games where you'll spend $60 and get like maybe a few hours out of it, Like I love it about roguelikes.
30,000 people playing it right now. There's
it's so good, man.
Double the amount of people playing Hades right now than there is BDO on Steam.
I hope other games look to the progression in Hades as an example, because honestly, like nothing that they're doing is super complicated. They just know how to give you more stuff to work towards, and it's even if it's not that big of a thing, even if it's just a little bit of a bonus here or like a little bit of progression there, like they just did such a good job of spacing everything out and rewarding you over and over and over again. Like, it's. They just did a fantastic job, and the combat itself is amazing too. Like the actual gameplay doesn't get boring, and you're constantly increasing the difficulty of the game as you continue to play it, and as you increase the difficulty, you're also getting more rewards. So there's that whole element to it, which again is one of those things I don't understand why more games don't do that, like reward you for playing New Game Plus, and so yeah, I'm gonna keep playing the game for a while still, I think.
Awesome. I love roguelikes, so that's one I haven't really gotten into yet. But everybody keeps talking about it.
What do you play off stream?
Talking to me?
Yes.
BDO. I don't have enough time to really play anything else. Occasionally, if someone invites me, I'll play Among Us. If people really want to, I guess I have Fall Guys, even though I rage out on that game so much. I'm so bad. I like playing Rainbow Six Siege, probably one of my favorite just like shooter games to like chill on, but most of the time I'm playing BDO. if someone invites me to something specific, I'll play depending on what it is. But I don't really have anything specific that I play. I think I have Escape from Tarkov, but I've heard the most recent stuff is like, I play TFT. That's fun. I like the auto chess type games. So, but yeah, it's mostly BDO. Just working on getting progression. I enjoy the grind. I'm a simple-minded kind of person.
That's fine. There's no shame in that. You like what you like. We don't kink shame here, unless
What's the next carrot for you right now in BDO?
So I'm just grinding money for costumes because I feel like I just don't have enough for try. But like basically it's Dead God. After Dead God, it's that costume, and if I get that costume within getting Dead God to try, then the quests, and just slowly kind of maxing out the account for what it is.
I feel like you'll get the same jolt from Dead God that you got from Blackstar?
I don't know. Because you're not hitting pen, right? You're hitting sub pen, you know? And pen is such a meme because it's 0.005% chance to go. It's like...
Well,
that's on a big stack, too. For most people, it's more like 0.02.
0.004 on a 100 and 0.008 or 0.009 on a 300. It's literally like not meant to be clicked. But I will be clicking it at least once, so...
I think everyone will do it at least once, just to
feel the rush, right? Like
someone will get it.
Someone, yes.
We can't all though, right?
Exactly. But I'm pretty simple. I love grinding it. I'm like literally in my like Zen mode when grinding on Zerker. Just is super satisfying. So yeah, that's kind of it. Other than that, if I'm not grinding, I'm usually watching Netflix with my wife. We're going through a bunch of different shows and stuff. So
it's cool.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
I've been playing Star Wars Galaxies.
How is that? You look like you're having fun playing that game, and that's not captured anymore.
It's everything different. It's everything BDO isn't. It's one of the truest sandboxes ever created, and it has the Star Wars facade on it. And some of the mechanics that they came up with are so uniquely tailored. Like, they're great game mechanics that you really only work in the Star Wars world, like becoming a Jedi. Yes, you used to have to like master all these professions and stuff, but now there's like this big time gated quest. And so it's like a couple months worth of work to become a Jedi. And even though you become a Jedi, then you have to grind the Jedi out. And then there's bounty hunters that are fucking killing you too. And so there's like this big active community and of 600-700 people, but there's another 500-700 people that are ready to go get back into this. So this is pre-combat update for fans of Star Wars Galaxies. They're ready to go, waiting for the server to be wiped and start over because there's a little bit of duping and stuff. So some people got butthurt with that, but they actively kill armed tiers. They moderate it. There's a kind of a decent Twitch following too, and hitting up and seeing the nostalgia of your own community that used to play it and stuff. It's a really grindy game, and the combat early on is unsatisfying at best, but once you start getting through it, and you can have 10 characters on one account, and you can have up to 2 characters dual boxed on the same computer at the same time, so you can like make your own economy or be your own buffer. That kind of like helps with the lack of population of it not being a live game. But it's so chill, and I've been having so much fun, and the progression feels good. And I'm starting with a PvE character, then I'm going to make a bounty hunter, then I'm going to make a fucking economy like this game's never fucking seen, and then I'm going to make a Jedi. So this is like my new second game. Like, I'll play BDO for a little bit, but then we're going to play some Star Wars Galaxies. I've been playing it the whole podcast, leveling up some mundane shit.
That game looks really fun. Like, it looks fun, like as a real true. Like, it's not like the other SWTOR or whatever, where it was like, it's like just a reskinned WoW beat, like Jedi MMO. I feel like that game genuinely looks like it's like a traditional RPG Star Wars game where you're playing through and actually doing the thing. Like, it looks like it's awesome. The progression.
Be a person in the Star Wars Galaxies. You're not Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader, even though they put him in the game later because business. Yeah. I'm just a fucking merchant, or I'm a nameless bounty hunter, or I can be that Jedi if I put in enough work. And so that's something that doesn't exist in the Star Wars galaxies or in the Star Wars genre. And that's what got me into Star Wars is this game. So the nostalgia is really there. But what's really cool is I was in a couple of different people's streams and I'm like, I got the partner badge and stuff, right? So I'm like, hey, just how's this game? How long you been streaming? Stuff like that. And they're like, come play, stream the game, right? I show up and there's 3 people waiting for me when I show up to hand me bags of stuff, hordes of cash, and show me where everything is.
That's awesome.
And then I finish out the first thing. So like 5 days later, I finish out my first tree and I'm like, fuck, I really need, I'm doing the hardest thing to grind out. And I really need this weapon, but it's like a ton of money. Somebody shows up to fucking deliver it to where I am because they had one that they could give me. And then somebody else shows up to repair it and buff it. And then they both give me money.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
Everybody's happy that everybody else is playing the game and supportive, and even the bounty hunters, everybody kind of plays Rebel and Imperial, so everybody's kind of hunting each other, and they say good fights afterwards and stuff.
Bro, I can see it now.
That it existed.
The King of Star Wars, Tim
There was a
Allen.
classic that worked. Like people were actually like pretty awesome, although there was like some like scandalous RMT type stuff. But outside of that, the communities always seemed like really wholesome and awesome, and that game looks fun. The only thing that looked unfun was like punching a rat one time when I was lurking, and I was like,
That's what I'm doing right now.
Why?
I'm used to them. I'm used to going, nice wife, kill yourself, and then drive off. Like that's what I'm used to. And it's like, no, here, thank you for playing our game. Thanks for being part of the community. And I'm like, you're welcome.
Why are you punching rats?
So the worst part of the game is getting to the place where you can use decent weapons. And so the beginning stages are really tedious. And then you unlock weapons and you can splice them and upgrade them and just, AoE combat things down. But till then, it takes a couple hours to get through that tedium.
Okay.
For the week. Last week, I think. So probably a weird time to pick up the game now. But as soon as 1.0 drops, which could be never, it's going to be super, super lit. Super lit. Probably a couple thousand.
I would be interested in playing it if the fresh start ever happens, because all my friends talked about Star Wars Galaxies, but I was too busy back then playing UO and Asheron's Call and everything else. But everyone who played Star Wars Galaxies back in like the early eras, they all say it's their favorite game ever.
Isn't that what Blade plays or played? I guess he said that was one of his favorite games.
His game that got him sucked into gaming.
So I'm going to go through all the things that I didn't do previously. Plus, I need to be reminded because it was 15 years ago. 15 years ago. And so when 1.0 ever happens, which ostensibly should be soon, TM, I'm going to hit the ground running. Hopefully Moreland joins me and a couple other friends, and we can work together, create a town, and really create some fucking economy straight away and be a force on the, no pun intended, on the server.
Yeah, let me know. That'd be fun. I mean, I've seen you guys play games like you guys playing Last Oasis and all kinds of other stuff, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Together was probably the most fun I've ever had.
Oh yeah, that was one of the other things that I was going to say for second half of 2020. There's a Last Oasis wipe that's coming soon, TM. I don't know if they have an exact timeline for it yet, but that's going to be pretty fucking fun.
When that happens, maybe that's what I'll play instead of New World for that, like a week or two.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to say that I've been playing Genshin Impact this week. Well, I played for like 2 or 3 days.
It's like anime Breath of the Wild. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically the gacha game, like weapons and characters, but there's only like 20 characters, so it's not really that harsh. But it's fun. It's a nice mobile game you can play on your phone while at work or something.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Slay the Spire on your phone, nothing else.
Yeah, that's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a weep game?
No, it's a card game.
Roguelike card game.
Yeah.
Super awesome. Played it like right when it first came out in like the beta on Steam or whatever. It was really, really good.
When I don't get into other games too often, but I'm vulnerable to roguelikes. And man, when I get into them, what was that, Dead Cells that they had a while ago?
Dead Cells is good too. I can't believe they released it on mobile. I was like, well, this game's great. And then I was like, oh, it's on PC? Shoot. Like, I gotta play this now. It's fun.
Did you play Hades yet, Tim?
No, but I'm resisting the urge because I'm having
it'll get you, dude. You'll lose a few weeks.
Save it for like a really raw, boring week.
Yeah, I might go to it later or something when it's irrelevant. It's kind of my.
Well, it's not an online game, right? So you can just enjoy it whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Not a lot of people watch the Hades streams anyways because they're super repetitive, and if you don't play the game, like you don't really know what the fuck's going on.
I do want to shout out the Among Us last that Moreland and I played with his community. I guess a mix of ours, but had a lot of fun. I didn't stream it so I could focus a little bit more on not having a camera on me and just playing the game and actually enjoying it. And even though at points it may not seem that I enjoyed it, I thoroughly enjoyed taking a night off and just playing some games with the boys.
I need to do another Among Us game with you guys sometime. I've taken some time off, and
I don't like playing with you because then you're just like, I gotta follow you, and it's like, fuck off, dude. Let me be an imposter.
Dude, one of my favorite Among Us games ever was when Potion was following me. I'm gonna throw that shit up on YouTube. That was probably one of the funniest games I've ever had.
Bro, he was the imposter. I knew it, and then he was just it's every game it was like 50-50, and they're like, I don't know who did it.
I killed 3 different people in front of Potion Shop, and finally, after the 3rd kill, he got thrown off, and we won the game.
I could not believe it. I was like, I told him that I was going to follow Moreland, and then I just didn't work. I was so surprised. And he was like, yeah, by the way, follow me next round. I was like, I
have a total fucking beat on Moreland. I caught him being in the imposter, and it was just a hunch. And he was like, I pulled up his stream I was like, fuck, he got voted off. I'm like, I better be right. So I pulled up his stream to check, and he's like pulling up his VOD and like counting out how long it took and pretending to do the task that I said he faked and all this shit. And he's like,
I was pretty upset because Tim got me thrown off the ship for speed running this O2 task. So I went into the VOD and I counted how long I was on the task, and I faked. That was the most perfect fucking O2 fake in the history of Among Us. The timing was perfect. The green bar was perfect when I moved away. Everything was flawless. And this motherfucker's like, oh, there's no way that I saw him fake a task.
It was so bad. It was so sad. I was worried he thought I was stream sniping. I'm not that sort about the game. I just want to have fun. But so I went in there and I'm like, oh, fuck, good. And he was. And I'm like, oh, shit, he's really upset. So, yeah, I'm back on board with that. I don't know if I'm going to stream it anymore, though. I'll just enjoy it as a...
It's hard to stream Among Us, I feel like.
No, it doesn't feel really to me anymore.
Unless you're just like dialoguing with yourself, I feel like I don't know. When I'm playing it, I'm like counting colors and numbers. I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this person went this way. Okay, now this person went over here. Okay, now I gotta count this task. Okay, did the green bar move? Oh my god, is it a multitask? I feel like I can't even. I feel like I'd sound like a crazy person talking.
It's sort of like grinding in BDO, right? The more you focus on the grind in BDO, the worse the streamer you are. And and it's like a trade-off. You got to trade off a part of your grind speed in order to be a better streamer. And I think the same is true for Among Us. You know, you gotta trade off part of your cutting edge, you know, in order to be a better streamer when you stream in. I don't know. It doesn't feel quite right.
I've definitely gotten punished for reading chat while Among Us, and like I miss something that happens on the screen. Someone vents right in front of me or something.
Yeah, that's like hard too. It's like you almost can't read the chat because people will spoil things. I mean, like.
Oh, my chat doesn't spoil, and they know they'll get fucking smacked down if they do that.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like a hard rule you have, and even then, like some new person comes in, they ruin it. It's like, man, like don't ruin the game, right? That's the whole point. It's the fun of it. But yeah, I feel that. It's just tough.
Yeah, so I'm gonna focus on not being entertaining or whatever, and just playing the game and enjoying it because that was better.
Yeah, I think it's funner. Yeah.
Age of Empires 3 Remastered is coming out. Just a note, nothing to really talk about. I played that a ton when I was a kid, so I might check that out. Hopefully the physics will actually work on my PC now. It's been a long time. Back in the day, my PC, every time you blow up a boat, slow motion, go down to like 5 FPS. You're like, oh gosh. They put in a box like real-time physics. You're like, well, this is definitely real time. I don't know. Is there anything else? I want to play Last Oasis for sure. That's definitely gonna be my fill-in. I forgot about that.
I'll play more actively than last time if there's a wipe. I'll fuck with that with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Now that I'm back to like normal work and stuff, I'm way less sweaty about what I do, with my time and other games and stuff like that. I've been playing Apex Legends again with fucking Game Nadian.
Oh yeah, he's actually pretty good at that, isn't he?
I don't know. He's only like 5'10".
Judging him on the size. He's been playing that a ton.
No, he actually is. He's shockingly good at it.
But I don't know if that's going to be. I don't know if you guys want to talk about anything else, but if there's nothing else, I think we should take a few questions, like one question from chat. Each of our chats pick one and answer it ourselves and talk about it a little bit. Someone had that idea last week, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I figured we'd give it a try. If you guys are okay with it.
Okay, what do you got for us, chat?
So
all right.
Questions from chat.
My chat wants to know how much trash per hour I get at this grind spot.
You're killing rats? Is that 5 rats an hour?
Killing womp rats, yeah. What's a womp?
I can't read what my chat is asking me.
Oh. You should ban them then.
I mean, it's just Frogster.
I can't read what my chat's asking me either. This isn't going well.
All right.
What should we do to prep for Odalita? Bookmark Moreland.tv.
Everybody bookmark. Everybody start bookmarking right now.
My website.
Pull out your bookmarks.
I would have a little bit of CP saved up. There's going to be a new egg and chicken node there. There's going to be a potato node. Both of those are going to be pretty good, and a fish node. So I'd imagine all of those are going to be worth it.
Yeah, and the massive pure magic node. You want to save like 25 to 30 CP, and then once it's been out for a week or two, and we know more, we'll be able to narrow it down. But
there's a trace of balance node, as well.
Yeah, probably 25 to 30 CP, and then other than that, you don't really need to do anything else to prep for Odalita. I mean, you're just going to go there and grind, right? Like. Yep. Get a second Garmoth's Heart if you want. That's about it.
The new materials from Odalito are there's tin for ore, and then there's some type of new timber. 2 nodes drop timber in the sap, and then 2 nodes drop the tin. It's unclear if those will be. There's a lot of things that use them this time around, so it's unclear exactly how profitable they'll be because they're brand new. We don't have any information on them. There's also going to be a grape node, but the grape node will be complete trash by them because of Moreland's influence.
What are you talking about?
Definitely don't get to the grape node. It's not
Grape
worth it.
Totally recovered since that happened.
What else is coming out with Odalito? I don't know. If you're the type of in-game player, I guess get like C10 in your chest piece if it's pinned.
What are the materials for the new musket? Do you need the new node to make the musket? Does it use nickel ore or something?
Oh, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at that up.
I have no idea what the nickel or the thornwood timber is used for. I know the sap is used in a bunch of recipes, but I don't have any idea what the actual main materials are used for. Is it like anything remotely useful, or is it just like furniture?
The timber is used in 1 or 2 things, I feel like. I forget exactly, but it's used in like 1 or 2 things that'll be relevant.
Or some new wagon that no one's going to use.
I don't think the tin is used in anything really that I've noticed. So we'll have to see. I hope what they do is I hope they do some type of crafting item. So make a craft, like, because it's been a long time since it had us where we could craft a piece of gear. So I was hoping to do something like the Dragon Slayer, but do a round 2 of that for another piece of gear. I think that'd be kind of interesting.
What if they fixed all the fucked up HP thing they did to organize PvP in Odalito?
Yeah, that'll probably happen.
Yeah, I can't read anything my chat's putting out.
What are your thoughts on Succession Zerker for PvE and PvP? That's the only question I've had so far, so that's what you got.
Skip.
Zerker?
Skip? All right. Sorry.
Hey, Blond Bear, do you have any fun anecdotes that you can share generalistically about your job?
Yeah, it's awesome. The citizens of Central Florida are... it's interesting, right? Like,
when people talk about Florida men, they're talking about Miami or Central Florida.
Yep, that is a fact. A lot of Central Florida is actually mostly just domestic cases and like small-time drugs. I think that some of the hotter cities, like on the south side of Florida, and maybe probably more towards the Disney Orlando area, get bigger stuff. But luckily I'm like just outside of that zone, so I kind of get like the people just being like beating up or yelling at their spouses and stuff like that. So it's not too bad, but
That's a terrible thing. What do you mean?
That happens a lot, though.
Compared to like murder and stuff, it's super normalized with like these people. Like, yeah, it is literally awful, but it's better than like murder or like tons of heavy drugs or like, child, exchanging rings of like, all that nasty, awful stuff. It's like some people are yelling at each other is pretty simple compared to like.
Well, when I was growing up, the Bible taught me that a sin is a sin, and not one sin is not more than another.
Weird chat.
Well, not by the law. No, but I don't know. I've been working there for like 3 or 4 years almost. 4 years coming soon in like March. So I don't know. I love the job. It's like, you'll have like 100 nasty callers, but as soon as you have like one guy that's like, dude, thank you so much for helping me out, blah, 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 blah. Like that kind of makes the job pretty awesome. Like,
I got another question for Blonde Bear here. Do you think your RNG is so much higher because you use a gaming chair?
No. I actually bought this not that long ago.
That's new.
I think it's actually worse.
The old chair was the lucky chair.
Yeah, dude, my original chair was way more comfy too. I don't know what it is. It's weird.
Those gaming chairs are risky.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a gamble.
I'm about to buy another Herbert Miller, dude.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Using that Rage Shadow Legends money.
I was about to say, you're gonna logo it and brand it.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that people down 911 in like their worst circumstance, so I just try to constantly be the best and nicest and most professional I can be to help people out, even if it's literally nothing. I had one woman call about a car accident where it was literally just a fender bender, but she was like panicking and having a panic attack, like as if her arm had been cut off in front of her. It was very odd, but I try to stay as professional and calm as possible and help people out because I don't really get freaked out in intense situations. Like I've had people call me about killing people. I've had people call me about their baby's not breathing, and we've saved lives and done all kinds of stuff, which is pretty awesome. But I think I'm mentally capable for the job because I can remain cool and calm in those scenarios.
What do you find more like nourishing to your soul? Saving human lives or hitting pens in BDO?
Oh man, I definitely hit more pens, so I can definitely recognize the feeling. But I gotta say, meeting like a 2-year-old child you save after drowning is, I think that's pretty awesome feeling. Like actually getting to meet the child and the parents and like just they're like crying because they're just so grateful to you. It's kind of hard to replace that feeling.
Well, the 2-year-old doesn't know who you are. What does that do anything for you?
That's true. But the parents, oh my gosh, the parents were. Whew. I don't have a kid yet, and I don't plan on having one for a little while. But I can't imagine. It's got to be absolutely terrifying. But like just the feeling you must have after, like something you thought was lost is now returned. Whew.
Yeah, having a kid, it's such a fucking cliche, but there's no way to describe it to people who don't have kids.
They will never understand. They can attempt to relate with their pets and their other stuff. It's impossible.
So I don't know if you said so people can know who don't know you. What's your job?
I'm a 911 dispatcher. I answer 911 calls. I sometimes dispatch over the radio. I take like fire EMS calls sometimes, and I dispatch over that as well. Usually the positions are separated. You're not doing all of them at once, but you're like answering phones or checking on warrants through like, the national database or dispatching units over the radio to different calls and stuff like that. So there's like different procedures and things we have to notify people of. Like it's got a whole laundry list of things that entitles.
Have you ever gotten any like extraordinarily stupid calls?
All the time.
Really funny ones?
Oh, when I worked day shift, I had this poor old lady who would call every day of the week. And she would have some new random story about how something was stolen from her house. And I always felt so bad, but she had like dementia or something or Alzheimer's, and she forgot every time she called. Or it was so sad. It was like the way she talked, she had this like sweet Southern accent, so it was so funny. And so when I was getting trained, like my trainer and I would just like we were two peas in a pod. I would laugh and she would laugh, and we would just laugh with each other after a call. Because just getting like the giggles from someone just talking like with a sweet little old lady Southern accent. But yeah, there's tons of calls. There's so many silly people and funny moments. It's like I wish I would remember to like write things down for like bits for like a comedy joke, because like there's like so many things that happen that is so like The Office-esque themed. I should have been writing them down for the past few years, and I really haven't, and I wish I did. But
Honey, someone stole the cake out of the fridge. I don't know who did it.
had kids calling because they had a pizza delivered to their house because someone hacked their PlayStation, like just super silly stuff. Mom, they hacked my PlayStation and they bought pizza through my credit card. Grandma, like just super silly stuff. But the good comes with the bad, right? So.
So you're saying I shouldn't call 911 if someone hacks my PlayStation?
You should call 911 if you need to. Yeah, if you feel like it's an emergency. The most frustrating thing I think is people that dial 911 who are too lazy to Google their non-emergency phone number, because there's only a certain, like, depending on your agency, there's only a certain amount of 911 lines, and if you max out, they roll over to the next closest agency. So like you could get a delay in an emergency because of some idiot dialing 911 because they want to file a complaint about something really stupid that's not an emergency. It's frustrating pushing the urgency with people, because some agencies really are hard on about like fake 911 calls getting billed and stuff. The amount of people that like falsely call 911 for non-emergencies and stuff like that are just too lazy to look up the number, or you'll give them the non-emergency number and they refuse to call it because they're too lazy. It's frustrating because it's mostly a lot of older, bitter people that just don't care. They just don't care.
I call 911 a couple times a year for crazy people, just like out in parking lots and stuff. I always know it's kind of borderline, but he's like in the street screaming and yelling and stuff. Like I'm pretty sure I should just call 911.
Oh yeah,
but
it's a traffic hazard. Yeah, because I mean, like it's the next guy in the next car could hit him and run him over. The guy could jump in front of the next car going by.
I can always normally tell, like when I call 911, probably done it a dozen times. Sometimes, and it's never been for like, you see a fire on the side of the road, or, somebody's high on drugs, or, Florida shit. You can I can kind of tell that, like, if it's busy, I just have to be quick, because they're full, or their lines are full, or, shit's pouring in. So I try to be respectful with that.
Yeah.
People used to call 911 on me when I drove my car when I was younger. I'd have cops telling me, and I'd just be like, they'd drive by eventually after like 10 minutes telling me, because I'd make like a quick turn or drive too fast or something like that, and I was doing it safely by my standards at the time, and so I'd have this cop tell me for like 10 minutes, and then he'd pull up beside me and look over and be like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. And I as I've grown older, I realized that other people, even though me changing lanes and signaling 5 seconds ahead of time, but swerving over real fast, I didn't see as a problem. But other people are like, "Oh my gosh, what could have happened?" Like, so
how many times did this happen?
Yeah,
enough to where I feel very comfortable talking to cops. I never
Police
got.
officers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I totaled my car, so if that says anything about what I learned.
You totaled your car?
So you were driving like a crazy person?
I never hit another person that so yeah,
that's good.
I never hit another person and it being my fault, so like that's good.
So the person you hit was their fault?
Yeah, it was their fault. Technically it was the guy in front of me one of the people pulled out too fast, and then like it was like a chain, like 3-4 of us all smashed together. It was a pretty bad collision, but it wasn't my fault. Oh no. Yeah, now I have a super old car because I totaled my nice car. But
did you have a Corvette before?
I'm not going to say. I had a nice car before, but anyway, it's like lessons learned, right? I kind of get that. Like now that I'm older, I realize that other people have different life circumstances, and some people might have been in a car accident, and then they get panicked when they see somebody's change lanes real fast, or or they don't understand that I'm just merging over to get into the next lane, and for them it's a crisis for them, So I try to keep in mind other people a lot more nowadays. I compared to my younger days, I'm a lot more tame.
That's good.
I've driven over 1 million miles, and I have not ever been in an accident.
Nice.
1 million?
Yeah, 1 million.
It's a lot of miles driven.
That's a fuck ton. I got like 180K or something.
Yeah, I've gone through 4 or 5 cars. I put... it's probably just under 1 million, probably 800.
Do you ever think about how many times around the Earth that is?
I looked it up once. It's quite a few.
How far away is the sun?
Oh, really far.
It's just right up there.
Isn't it like 17
you've
million
driven,
miles or something?
Like 1% of the way to the sun. How do you feel about that?
I mean, you guys always underestimate me. This entire community's always underestimated me. I've done amazing things.
I never said you didn't.
Wait, what about the moon? Maybe you've driven to the moon.
You've implied it.
Um,
93 million miles to the to the sun.
Oh, I've almost driven to the moon. That's like easy. Shit.
Yeah, that's
how far is that? How far is it?
238,000 miles.
Oh, you've gone to the moon and back 2 times.
Yeah, that's fucking easy, dude.
I think I put 250,000 miles. It was a little more than 250,000 miles in my Jeep SRT8. I drove over 200,000 miles with making 11 miles to the gallon. Think about that.
I'm not gonna do math.
Please don't. I don't want to hear it. It's back when selling building materials was actually profitable, but that's a different story. Anything else? Yeah, let's pack this episode up and do a little after hour stuff if you guys want to. Thank you so very much for making the time, getting up early, staying up late, however the world works for you, Blonde Bear. You are a wonderful guest. Thank you for your insights, and thanks for letting us prod into you here a little bit. Hopefully this was a rewarding experience for you. If you want to take a second, let the people know what you got going on, anything special upcoming or planned.
Yeah, I got the first 4 days of like Odalita's launch off. We're going to be duo grinding with Potion Shop as soon as the servers go up. And then I just plan on grinding pretty intermittently throughout the next 4 days. Yeah, I just I kind of got the 4 days of the launch set off, so I'm ready to go and grind. Hopefully get Dead God immediately and get Try and then get the costume and do some other stuff.
Did you get it off with work or just the wife?
Yeah, well, I cut the work. Still gotta maybe have a conversation about.
We're good. That's more important than work, dude.
You better put Netflix in between now and Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
Potion, what's up with you, homie? What's going on?
Well, like Bomber said, Wednesday I'll be grinding with him. I'll be pushing for level 66 on my Sorceress on Monday and Tuesday. So I want to get that done before grinding with Blond Bear. So that's the plan on Monday and Tuesday. Really, really excited for that. I'll be the first level 66 Sorceress on NA, is my understanding. I don't think there's another one. I've been keeping track pretty close. So I haven't seen another one crawling around. Most of them are witches and wizards. So I'm really excited for that. That'll be good. Really curious to see how much the grind is for 67. That's what I'm actually curious about. Because people who are 66 have been talking a mad game about how hard it is. So I'm actually curious to see how actual difficult it is. So anyway, that's why I got planned 66 and yeah, grinding an Ordolito with Blond Bear.
Orlin?
Going to be doing the Odalita thing on Wednesday as well. Going to grind for Dead God. Also going to do the new node setup and get the new muskets, try the hunting spots. So I've got quite a lot of Odalita stuff to do. But even broader than that, with the website coming out, I'm going to be really fine-tuning the node tool on there and then moving on to probably cooking next. So I'm getting way back into life skills again, just like really learning the ins and outs of different life skills and what would make a tool useful for people who want to pursue those things. And so I'm trying to I'm trying to come up with tools for life skills that are going to kind of like take things to the next level, because I think there's some drawbacks to a lot of the current spreadsheets and tools out there that exist. They're not quite as intuitive as they could be. So I think we have shot at really like changing the landscape of life skilling and getting a lot more people interested into it. If they were overwhelmed before. So that'll be pretty good. And we'll have a private version of the node tool available in the next couple days, and then probably a public version in the next week or two.
Yo, you're gonna get me on that private version, homie?
Yeah, everyone who's subbed can find it in the sub channel on Discord.
As for me, I'm just looking forward to playing games. I'm getting back to just playing games with friends. So if we play Last Oasis or Moreland next time we play Among Us or whatever the case is, I'm doing a little bit of Star Wars Galaxies as well. So if you guys want to come through and see what nostalgia looks and feels like, but obviously I'm really looking forward to grinding with Moreland for the Dead God pieces for a little bit there. So that'll be good. But that's what I got going on. Anybody got anything else they want to add?
That's it, I think.
That is episode 19 of Nerds and Words. Thank you guys so much on behalf of all of us. We hope you guys have an excellent week. Thank you for listening. We greatly appreciate it. This is our highlight of the week. We appreciate the support to our individual channels and us collectively as the Nerds with Words. Have an excellent week, and we'll catch you next week live on Twitch on most of our channels, any of our channels, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific on Saturday. Have a blessed week.